Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 177 of All Your Podcast. I'll be your host today, Patrick. And joining me today are my three special co-hosts.
I am BB6969.
That Cannon guy. I'm back. It's Cannon. He's back. It's been a while, but everything's been a fucking while here lately. 2020 years long.
While also being a week.
Hello, my name is Colt. I'm back. It's been, I don't know what in the last episode I was on. It's been a while. I'm recovering from sciatica, and I haven't been able to sit in a chair, but it's nice to be back and listening to Jonathan do a Bernie impression for 30 minutes.
Don't talk about it.
I was wondering, did anybody have a timer on that one?
Was it 30
It
minutes?
felt longer. I don't know.
It was probably like 15 minutes or so.
I don't even want to talk about it. I'm Wenzel, and I am Wenzel's advocate.
And on today's episode, we'll be discussing a very important cinematic figure, and that's the much beloved Keanu Reeves. And we'll be talking about a very selected portion of his filmography, mostly the films that folks don't really talk about, but they probably should, because they're very special films in very special different ways.
So those looking for The Matrix, I'm sorry.
We're not doing the Matrix. We're not doing the John Wickeds.
We're not doing the Bills and Teds.
These are all movies that are a little bit off the radar, or at the very least underrated, or just not talked about. And we actually were supposed to have 6 people today, but unfortunately our other guest was not able to join us today due to technical difficulties. But we still watched the movie that they brought to the table, because each of us brought a movie to the table today, and we talked about all of them in chronological order as they were released in theaters. And today we'll be starting our conversation off with 1992's Bram Stoker's Dracula. We'll talk about that in just a little bit, and we move on to the lads who actually were in present today. Their movies will be a bit more in depth. And just going around the horn, who was able to watch Bram Stoker's Dracula today?
I didn't watch it for the podcast, but I've seen it before.
Okay. So what this is, for those who haven't seen it, is a retelling of Bram Stoker's Dracula, clearly, in a very experimental way. It's a very brave way to reinterpret the story. It's simultaneously one of the most accurate portrayals of the story in film, but also one of the most wildly divergent.
Yeah, because the little things it does different from the source material, it's to like the main characters, and that even like tiniest little changes can greatly affect how someone's performance or how it's written or whatever.
So, with this movie, personally, I really enjoyed it because Francis Ford Coppola is the director for this film, and he just went balls to the wall in terms of his directing, because whatever weird idea came to his head, he put it out there on that screen. He did not give a goddamn.
Or every idea like the intern came up with, he was like, that sounds like a good idea.
Nothing was said no to in this movie.
Yeah, it seems like, I think Apocalypse Now, the filming of that movie, broke him, and he's never been the same.
I mean, he recorded, I don't know, was Apocalypse Now after Godfather 2?
Yes.
Okay. They're really close in release windows, I think.
Godfather 2, 74, and Apocalypse Now is 78 or 79.
What the fuck? I thought Godfather 2 was late 70s. Okay. But you get to see Keanu Reeves' nipple get sucked until it gets blood out.
That you do.
Yeah, because I made the interesting choice of watching this first thing this morning, and I really had to fight to keep from yelling at several different points to keep from waking up the house. Because, the movie starts off with Keanu Reeves as a up-and-coming banker who's sort of being put in charge of working with the finances of the very eccentric Count Dracula, and he's sent across the pond to Count Dracula's castle in Transylvania, and it's a phantasmagoric film because it's just completely off the rails. Because you see that the intro is Gary Oldman as the warrior Dracula, the Vlad the Impaler, and so he's fighting off the Turkish army, and then through subterfuge, his beloved wife Elisabetta is convinced of his death in war, and she commits suicide out of desperation. And when he returns, he finds his beloved wife dead, and in a rage against the heaven, he denounces God in the most outrageous way. He takes his sword, plunges it deep into the stone crucifix of the altar, which just immediately starts gushing blood, and which upon he sups and becomes a creature of the night known as Dracula.
Oh my god, I haven't seen this.
The intro is...
I have not seen this, no.
The intro is absolutely amazing. I love this intro so much. The armor that he's wearing in this is one of my favorite sets of armor that I've ever seen. It looks like muscle. And it would be terrible at probably defense because it's covered in grooves and you want the blades to bounce off of you, but that doesn't matter. It looks badass.
Well.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
Because his cover had to put this segmented armor that looks like a flayed man, looks like musculature, and he has like this helmet that's kind of draconic in a way.
It looks like a
a
bat, like a rabbit, kind of, with like the ears.
Yeah,
it's like a muzzle and pointed ears. Like it's a rather iconic like look of armor, because there's a lot in this film in terms of visuals. That are very.
Well,
iconic.
Sorry, I take it back. They actually look like horns. I didn't think about it, but for a second, it makes sense. He looks like his armor makes him look like a demon because he's technically a devil or a demon because he's a vampire or whatever.
I was wondering because you said bat. No, you said like bat and rabbit. I was like, those are two very conflicting ideals. What does it look
I was just thinking of terms of like pointed, straight up ears.
Yeah.
So I guess it'd be more close to a rabbit, but they look like horns. It's pretty dope. Pretty sick ass armor. There's a remake of the Dracula movie with Luke Evans in it, and the armor looks cool in that one, but it's like I don't know, it just looks dumber.
Are you talking about the Dracula Untold movie?
Yeah.
Or is that a different one? Yeah. One of the unofficial starts for the Dark Universe. Cinematic universe.
Oh, that is actually pretty sick.
It's really good.
It just showed me the armor.
And just to say, like, this movie goes so hard at the beginning. Like, it's just crazy whip-ass bullshit. Because they send Keanu Reeves, who's trying very hard to emulate a British accent.
Oh, more accents, eh?
I mean, God bless him, he really does try.
Yeah. And then you got Gary Oldman comes downstairs as Dracula. And it's iconic for all the wrong reasons. Because he looks like he would be named Ethel and in a nursing home.
Because, like, when you first see Gary Oldman as Dracula, he has, like, this, I would say, like, Emperor Palpatine level of, like, makeup on.
Yeah.
He has a raisin face.
And he has, like, this odd sort of heart-shaped hairpiece with an absurdly long red gown that he sort of.
Now that I think about it, I think that's the only part of that movie I remember.
I mean,
like,
I'm sure you've seen it.
I've seen like a weird Palpatine with Leia hair for some reason. I have boobs on my head? That's some Little Nicky shit right there.
A little butt on his head. He's got these long spindly fingers.
Ugh, fuck that.
And in a movie that's filled with like really strong practical effects, one of the weaker parts are like his old man fingers. We can clearly see little fake fingertips attached to his own fingers.
Yeah.
Other than, like, there's only a few like missteps in terms of practical effects, because the whole movie is just like filled with practical effects and in-camera tricks as like this big homage, like all these old and even contemporary horror films. Because like there's not any CGI in it, and this is in the early 90s, so that still would have been feasible. But like for me, the movie is just a feast for the eyes.
Yeah, like while I'm not a huge fan of the movie personally, I will never ever shit on the production design, the set design. Everything is meticulously designed in a very aesthetically pleasing way.
Yeah, it's also kind of it's still the beginning of the movie, but when Keanu is getting to Dracula's mansion, the whole like carriage ride there, it was just screaming Bloodborne energy.
Yes.
Fuck, I loved it so much, and it just made me want to become a wolf and run through the woods. Anybody else want to do that?
Dude,
anybody else feel like that?
I've been saying since fucking middle school I would want to be a werewolf over a fucking vampire.
I'm with you there 100%, because I would still be able to go out in the sun.
Exactly. And, like, the only thing that can kill you is a silver bullet. Like, okay, how many of you fuckers have silver bullets? None of you, dumb bitches. So,
and
like,
plus, werewolves don't crave, like, blood or anything, really.
Yeah.
They just like eating people.
But
Yeah.
like, that depends, though. It's
Purple
like,
people eat.
what kind of werewolf are we talking? Because, like, if we're talking, like I think that, like, I'm thinking in terms of fucking Wolf Among Us werewolf. Like, you have complete we have complete control over our bodies. You know, I don't even know if the transformation would hurt, but I don't give a shit. I have super strength, super senses. I can run really fast. Yeah, I'll take werewolf over vampire. Can't go out in the sun. Can be destroyed by, quote, holy objects, unquote, maybe. You know, has to drink blood. You know, bullshit. No.
Yeah.
We got ourselves a fucking nerd in the chat, am I right, boys?
Fuck you.
Okay, but you know, I would be worried, though, if I couldn't eat chocolate. That would suck.
Chocolate's overrated.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, I think
but
honestly, I'm with you. I don't know. I think I could give up chocolate.
I could give it up, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's fruit candy is where it's at.
Or caramel.
That's my
Caramel
opinion.
isn't chocolate.
Caramel also fucking rules, too.
I was about to say, a life without caramel, just kill me now.
I'm with you.
Our candy dish upstairs for Halloween is just 99% caramel.
It's just
candy.
been like regenerating caramel candies for a few days now.
Fuck.
But to Wenzel's point about sort of like the mythology of like werewolves and vampires, like that's kind of given a little turn in its head with Dracula, because Dracula is able to go out in the sun, but he's depowered. But I guess by depowered, he just turns back into regular Gary Oldman with like Ozzy Osbourne sunglasses. But he still has like a lot of really sort of varied powers, and what they play with in the movie is how he doesn't really seem to have one set form, because he really is a shapeshifter, and all his different like physical form he takes over the movie is really interesting. Like he goes from being the Emperor and Emperor Palpatine in the start of the movie, gets young Gary Oldman, becomes a fucking cool bat monster and a werewolf.
Whoa.
And like and some weird green gas too.
But I have a question. You said like he changes to somebody else in the daytime. Is this like some sort of like Jekyll and Hyde situation?
No, he's still Dracula. It's just when he goes to
It's just
America,
like
or England.
Peter Parker Dracula is what you're saying.
Yeah, this would be his Alucard form, I guess you could say. This is his handsome, regal, princely form that he woos the women of the
like Clark Kent Dracula.
This is
Got it.
Like, you go.
I was just gonna say, this reminds me of Nosferatu, because I watched Nosferatu recently, and the fucker was going out in daylight like it was nobody's business.
and
no. I was just gonna say, ugly fucker.
Yeah, I've read the source material before for English class, and all like besides the whole like him turning into young hot Gary Oldman who's going to fuck Winona Ryder. Before, the Gary Oldman who fucks, besides that, all those fucking powers are in the original book. Like, he just turns into wolf. He can, like, teleport through gas. I don't know what's up with that.
The mythology of vampires is really fucking weird, because they have like multiple different powers. Like
it's like Cartman in that episode of South Park where it's the anime episode, and they're like, we didn't know you had that power. I'm a man of many powers.
Yeah. No, it was like it's so weird, and also I think that's also kind of cool too when you think about like vampires all over the world, like of how they're of like, well, now it's what's considered a vampire, but like certain creatures in different like cultures, mythologies are like can be classified as vampires. That kind of adds to the mythos as well. Also, I should recommend check out American Vampire, really good comic book. And if that was the kind of vampire bullshit we were dealing with, might be a vampire then.
Yeah, I like it's similar to sort of like regional Bigfoot myths, like because the core of the idea is the same, but there's just like little small differences that exist from region to region.
Yeah, like how there's a horny Bigfoot in Arkansas, but there's one that will kill you in like Maine,
and
one sexy one.
I love the name of the Alabama one.
Yeah, our regional Bigfoot variant has an amazing name. And what is that name?
The White Thang.
Oh, that's
Not
Kakashi.
Thang.
No, Thang, like thong, but with an A.
Oh, that's not cool.
That's not cool at all.
It's like, and we're not exaggerating. It's not white thing. It is white thing.
Like whenever they write it out, it's THANG.
Wait, is that not just some guy down the street?
White thing.
I'm a white thing.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like, aren't 4 of you in this group right now white thangs?
Why'd you say it like that?
Got a point.
Why did you say
white
it like
thangs?
that,
That's what you are.
Stop it.
There's like,
white thangs.
There's like a Bigfoot
Wenzel.
myth from Alabama, and my dad hasn't talked about this. What the F? He's supposed to be the expert. But that's a whole other show.
He's
right?
probably
Yeah,
protecting you from the white thing.
Yeah, we'll have to get at the canon's trauma of his father being a roving Bigfoot hunter.
Yeah.
You think we're joking? We're not.
It sounds like we're just ripping off Yeti. Like,
I mean, honestly, yeah.
I like the stink ape. That's
Yeah.
no, my bad. The skunk ape.
Or it's colloquially known as the pee pee poo poo baby.
Yeah. Where's our skunk ape movie?
I need Stinky Boy.
Please.
All right, so
What?
let's swerve this back on track. Talk about
One of the
butt fuck
powers
crazy
that the vampire has, he was luring a woman to this garden area where he has sex with her, and then I don't understand what was going on there, but whenever Winona Ryder comes out and looks at him, he says, "Do not see," and then he disappears.
Yeah, because he has powers of like hypnotism and mind control.
Yeah.
But it's just so weird when you see Dracula on his boat ride over to England in like a box of dirt because he's so far away from Elizabeth Tower, he has to carry around like dirt from his homeland to like keep his batteries charged. But when you see him in his little like wooden crate, he's like wiggling around in this amniotic sac as he's morphing into the werewolf, and he's just like killing folks in the boat. So like Wenzel's like Colt said, he runs off, and then because Winona Ryder is Keanu Reeves' fiance, his betrothed, and she's hanging out with her best friend, also a rich girl, Lucy, and Lucy kind of gets trapped up in Dracula's throes as well. But their first contact is just them just fucking in the garden, and he's a wolf man.
And this movie is so horny. Fucking Coppola, he had his hand on the dial and he's like, "Dare me to do it," and they're just like,
"Don't do it,
Coppola.
Don't
No, don't do it. We're not daring. You dare me to do it? Yes, fucking do it." And then he just cranks it to fucking 11
because Keanu Reeves gets trapped in a sex pit dungeon pillow bar with the Brides of Dracula. They're sucking his tits till the blood squirts out.
And then they walk back in footage that's clearly been reversed, and it looks really bad.
And then, so there's a lot of weird sexual pining because Lucy, she's flirting between 3 guys, and then Dracula gets his psychic nails into her, and then he turns her into a vampire. And Vampire Lucy has a really cool design. Like she has throughout the movie, she has like these reptile motifs. Like she has like a lizard, like a snake print on her dress, and when she's into her funerary wedding gown, it's like a frilled lizard. There's like some big brain like costume design in this movie too.
Is it bad that I'm kind of hating that I didn't watch this movie now?
It's worth a watch.
It sounds fucking banana sandwich, and
but it's only like really banana sandwich for like the first like 15 minutes, and then it kind of mellows out relatively.
Okay.
Yeah, because that is one thing about the movie is that I think it's still really good, but when the movie sort of like settles down into like this love story between Dracula and Winona Ryder's character, who is the reincarnation of his dead wife, and sort of like, and he's sort of like slowly winning her over through his like powers of suggestion and like the past life that's living inside of her somehow. And Keanu Reeves is just locked in an ivory tower for for like a half the movie essentially. And that is one of the big criticisms people have from the original material and just in general, that the love story weighs down the film.
Yeah, because it wasn't in the original source material. That the whole reincarnation bullshit that was added in, and I think it really hampers the
I've been holding back, but I didn't think about it. That I was like, you know what? I don't want to spoil Nosferatu for anything, but fuck me, I forget. Nosferatu is just it's literally Dracula, just renamed. And when you guys started talking, I was like, shit. That's Nosferatu, because the scene, because you guys said that he killed a ton of people on a boat, right?
Yeah.
That literally happens in Nosferatu. I remember watching that, and I was like, this would be such good shit if you could bring this into the modern day. I would love to see the Nosferatu like design touched up with like what I've seen with like on the poster for the with Doug Jones in it, and like literally have him going ham and slaughtering a bunch of sailors. That would be so sick. And
and Robert Eggers was supposed to be attached to a Nosferatu remake, but I think it's dead in the water.
We don't know. And the level of horniness in Nosferatu, I've talked about this, was that Nosferatu sucked on the main guy, whoever plays him in the movie, and also Keanu Reeves plays the same character. He sucks on his thumb, but I like to say he sucks on his toes. Horny.
He does like to say it. He brings it up a lot.
Isn't there a Nosferatu show happening on AMC right now, or something along those lines?
Yeah.
You're thinking of What We Do in the Shadows?
No. There's a show that I remember it because it's based off a book, and I've seen the front cover. It's like a license plate that says Nosferatu on it, but it's
it's a comedy.
No, it's a horror.
No,
it's Nosferatu because it has Zachary Quinto.
Yeah.
I think it's on Shudder too. I haven't watched it, but. Just on that vampire track, but the movies is but well, I don't know what to say, because what the biggest thing I love about it is just how unrepentantly self-indulgent the movie is.
Oh yeah,
because Francis Ford Coppola he's on his bullshit 100% in this movie. He doesn't give a damn what makes sense, what's in good conscience. He just puts whatever he wants into it, and honestly, the actors go just as hard, because Gary Oldman and Anthony Hopkins as Dr. Abraham Van Helsing, they're just having like a ham off between the two of them. Just who can chew the scenery the most.
I keep forgetting that he's in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because Anthony Hopkins is Van Helsing, and how he kind of balls between being like, what we know of Anthony Hopkins, like, I'm the wizened old man who tells you everything, and just being insane. And also, the motherfucker teleports.
Van Helsing?
Yeah, but the bitch teleports. And it's never mentioned again after it happens. Because when all the suitors are trying to figure out what's wrong with Lucy, she's turning into a vampire. Why is this? Why is she acting so spooky? And Helsing's like, "Yep, you got a vamp problem." And it's like, that's crazy. As they're talking about something, they turn back. The motherfucker's 50 feet away at a gravestone, just.
It's like
Batman
no fart.
Maybe
no fart
he's a
cloud
Dracula
required.
as well, because Dracula can teleport. I don't know.
Who knows?
The anti-Nosferatu. And then we don't want to give away everything, but there's a lot of really good content, like how they rectify Lucy's vampire problem, and sort of the big chase sequence on the way back to Dracula's castle. My one criticism with the movie, outside of it being kind of a little slumpy in the middle, is that Dracula's castle essentially looks like him sitting on a throne.
Huh.
Yeah.
And I was sad that I was thinking the whole time, please God, if this fucking castle gets up and starts fucking with people, I'm out. Like, it's gonna be amazing. It didn't happen though.
Like the Power Rangers show up to fight it.
Like his fucking castle just megazords into giant Dracula, and he starts trying to smash him.
That'd be the greatest shit
That
ever.
would be so cool.
10 out of 10.
You know, okay, hear me out. Here's a pitch.
I'm mad.
Here's
now.
a pitch idea. That would be cool if Dracula put like magic symbols all over his castle and stuff, and that someday, maybe some crazy fucking experiment or project, the symbols activate and cause the castle to transform into a giant stone golem. Like, that would be Stone Colossus, actually. It'd be a it'd be Dracula's Colossus. That'd be cool as shit. Don't steal my idea,
Also,
Hollywood.
Copyright. TM. Also a Gundam.
Also, Gundam. I forgot to mention that this is one of the 2 movies on our list that has several video games and a trading card game and a comic book illustrated by Mike Mignola.
Oh, okay.
So it was really weird watching the Sega CD version of this game, where it's essentially just Keanu Reeves lookalike just high kicking a Dracula in the head as he tries to raise a force field. It's just really like wonky action platformer. It's a hoot. So Dracula is a buck wild movie. It's absolutely insane, and I think it's worth checking out. Of the folks that did watch it, would you recommend this movie?
Yes, in a like holy shit, this movie's butt fucked sort of way.
Yeah, I'd say give it a watch. It's a very fun movie. If you're interested in Dracula in any way, give it a check.
And if you're horny for blood, there's a lot of that in there too.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, and the blood is a symbol for semen. Talked about that in college. That was awkward.
My paper is about how blood is the symbolism for cum.
It's in your notes for real.
Yeah, and splooging and breaking the hymen.
So this is actually Justin's pick, and one day we'll have to come on and give his little spiel about it, because he probably gave this a high rating on all this, so I'm very interested to hear his opinion one day in the show. But forging ahead, we move on to my pick, which is 1995's Johnny Mnemonic.
Yeah.
Which is a cyberpunk film starring Keanu Reeves as what is called as a mental courier. Basically, he's a man who ferries high value data in his head through a neural implant to high paying customers. And unfortunately, on this one last job, he gets a file that's so incredibly valuable and dangerous that he not only has the goons of a giant pharmaceutical company and the Yakuza on his tail, but also if he doesn't offload his information within 24 hours, it will overload his neural implant and it will kill him. Now, who here was able to watch Johnny Mnemonic?
Me.
This guy with you.
That's right.
Today.
Me.
So, if you thought Dracula was buck wild,
This is the
Johnny Mnemonic is
pinnacle of buck
insane.
wild of everything today.
Yeah. It's a little yikes on how many things that were shown in this movie that are in parallel to what the fuck's going on outside right now.
Yeah, it's strangely prophetic, because in the movie, the world is ruled by corporations who've overextended their grasp. There is a worldwide plague that's stricken the world. There's a scene where there's giant protests in China.
Yeah, masks everywhere, police and fucking riot gear.
So, like,
I mean, I even saw InfoWars. There was that little thing at the beginning of the movie. I saw InfoWars. I was like, oh no. 2021, the internet, like, yeah,
yeah,
looks like ass.
because the movie movie takes place in the far off, distant year of 2021.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
oh God, that is. We're not gonna make it.
It's not looking good.
So apparently, there's going to be a big software crash in the next year. Where everything just goes to shit. Because you just seen in 1995, like, oh, this is our big technological showcase. Let's see all our crazy CG with all the internet bippity bops flying around, and it's just the movie has a lot in common with the Lawnmower Man. If anybody knows that,
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. You're right on that one.
especially at one point towards the end where it pretty much turns into Lawnmower Man.
Oh, Jesus. I actually took a fuckload of notes here now that I'm looking back. Jesus Christ. The one thing that I thought was hilarious, like his brain, he has a little section that's essentially a fucking hard drive.
Yeah.
And he has enough memory that is the equivalent of the fat PlayStation 3.
Yeah, because
But then when he upgrades his hard drive to 160, which is a PS3 Slim, and then hold on to your underwears, because we know when you have 160 gigs of hard drive space, the first thing you do is try to squeeze extra in there at 320 gigabytes.
Yeah, now I can download
Which was
Warzone.
Fuck.
Only then, though. Thanks, Call of Duty.
Oh man,
because
I don't want to talk about Call of Duty right now.
It's just funny how the movie flaunts like, oh, he's got 160 gigs in his head of storage data, which is
A flash drive.
which
now.
is nothing today.
And
But literally, it would have been like a brick
one of
on
the
a suitcase back in the day.
biggest crimes that this movie commits is it does the classic 80s 90s tech talk where they just throw random tech terms in a string and they said this is gonna work. No one knows what any of this
Yeah.
means.
Oh, just like the techno babble.
Yeah.
It was funny because like 320 was literally double the amount of space, but like the brain, I think can hold a little more than that. I don't know.
Infinite.
No, not infinite. There's actually there's an actual number of amount of information the brain can hold. Like it's
I don't know about you, but I remember everything ever. So
well, that's not
Don't know
true.
what you're
That's
talking
not
about.
true because you literally confessed to us that you can remember what everybody else says, but you can't remember what you said. So boom,
what are you talking about? I've never said that. I remember that I've never said that.
motherfucker. Okay. Anyway,
I know.
Where are your receipts, Wenzel?
I know I said I didn't want to talk about Call of Duty, but I forgot I had this in my notes. Data transfers in 2021 look as painful as Modern Warfare updates,
Yeah.
which is very true.
but anyway,
Looks very
I wish
painful.
Johnny Mnemonic.
Johnny
I
New
wish
Metal.
it was more sci-fi than what it was. No, that's not true. It was a blast. I
Oh.
think.
It was very
here-
sci-fi. So sci-fi, I think it gave my head a brain hurt.
A brain blast.
It gave it a brain fucking finger blast from hell. It was, by the time it was
Squirting
over,
everywhere.
I wanted it to be over really bad.
Like your fucking bed is just like soaked.
I mean, I will say when it did end, it did just fucking. It definitely ended. That was a weird one, but I'm just pissed. You have less than a year to give me goddamn laser piano wire, okay? Because that was fucking
That was
rad.
cool.
Yeah.
Because
Are you
one-
kidding me?
Because one of the Yakuza, who's kind of like hot on Johnny's tail, has this like thumb implement with a long nail. When he pulls the nail off, it has this energy laser wire that cuts through anything. So like, because when he first runs into Johnny downloading the big secret file, he has to get to the free city of Newark, New Jersey. He's just slicing up all the guys in the room, all the statues. Like it just like a hot knife through butter.
It's really well done too. Whatever effect
Yeah.
they used.
It was pretty sick.
For a movie that has CG that has not aged well, I don't think it aged well even out of the 90s. The laser wire effect is still very solid.
Yeah. Also, the dolphin.
Yeah. Cyber
When,
dolphins.
okay. When I saw that, that's when I was like, this movie. I was like, okay, no, hold on. I'm trying to think. At first, whenever we got Dolph Lundgren, I was like, this movie can't get any crazier.
Oh,
And
man.
it did. It got crazier. There is a fucking dolphin that is apparently a super hacker that can hack into mainframes and shit. That's how it helps distribute information and stuff to the people for the low techs.
The low techs, in case you're wondering, they are the low tech, but spelled normally, resistance groups that's fighting the giant pharmaceutical companies that are controlling the world, led by AYCH.
Yeah.
And his anarchy
some good
symbol
stuff.
tattoo on his forehead.
Yep.
And going back to the dolphin for just a bit, there's literally nothing that could have anticipated or prepared you for the fact that the secret weapon of the resistance is a fucking telepathic cyborg dolphin that is addicted to drugs and once worked for the Navy because they got him addicted so he would continue to work for him for drugs.
What?
Wait,
Yeah.
I watched this movie and I
don't
didn't
even
get
remember that.
What? What the fuck?
Yeah, because when I did my research on the film, there's a lot in the movie that's either not explained or it's in the Japanese cut of the film. Because there's two versions. One version is the American version, the other is the extended version for Japan. There's like at least 7 extra minutes of like content, and there's literally a scene of like Ice-T filling up a syringe and pumping it into the dolphin so he could get his vibe back and he can feel like he's swimming again.
Get his
Jesus.
fix.
And
H.
like
Murphy.
it's literally insane. And I described the movie as late 80s cheese in a mid 90s rapper. I mean, and also it's a lot like cheese in that it's has enough holes in its plot to be considered Swiss cheese. Because the fact that the plot is even held together at all is a miracle on its own.
Yeah.
Because nothing really makes sense.
Yeah. Like one of my favorite moments while we were watching is you and I realizing it was Henry Rollins and we both screamed, "Henry Rollins!"
That's a weird choice.
Because Henry Rollins is like, his name is Spider, and like he's this underground scientist and doctor that's somehow conveniently working or has a connection with the resistance, is working with the people that's trying to break down the cure to the virus that's taking over the world, and has like an end with the bodyguard girl that Keanu Reeves hired to help him and to get his information to where it needs to go. And so he's just very convenient to the plot, but strangely enough, he has one of the better performances in the film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was really good.
I would agree with that.
Also, they didn't cover up his black flag tattoo.
Of course not.
It's still completely visible.
I felt like they didn't like cover up any of his tattoos.
Well, I figured
On his arms, at least. I
figured they would cover up like a tattoo that wouldn't make sense in the world of the setting, but they just didn't.
No,
Also, I don't know if anybody else caught this. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off
you're fine.
there. But when Ice-T's character is introduced, he says this line, and it goes, "We're even. I don't owe you shit." And then Johnny Mnemonic immediately asks, "Who are you?"
Because
I don't know why it was just like, it's like, we're even. I was like, how can we be even? Well, I never asked a favor of you or whatever. I don't know you. How are we even?
Because IC, or as he's done in the film, J-Bone, it just happens to be in the right place and right time as Keanu is trying to get away from the Yakuza goons that are trying to
cut his head off.
cut his head out, which is another plot point that doesn't quite make sense. Because, as we said before, if he doesn't get his information to the right place within 24 hours, he'll die because his neural interface will overload because it's overcapacity. But the pharmaceutical company doesn't want the information getting out because it's actually the cure to the virus that they're trying to milk people for money for. But I'm just like, why do you need to cut off his head if you could just literally just wait and he'll die on his own? or just shoot him.
Yeah,
Well-
I didn't even think about that.
Well, no, it said that if he dies on his own, because what happens is that the data seepage will corrupt it,
Oh,
and like
yeah.
it will like if he dies on his own and like it's because of data seepage and what blah 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 whatever, then it'll corrupt the data. But if they get to him right then and there, cut off his head and preserve him and stop any more data from seeping out from not being corrupted, then it'll be fine. I understand this plot more than anything in my life.
Y'all, my eyes just glazed over like I'm trying to read Dune lore.
Yeah. Also, I don't understand virtual VR hand puppets.
Yeah, because
That part took. I know this movie is already like bonkers, but that one part, I was just like, "Come the fuck
Wait.
on!" You can't even like use a face scan for that shit.
That was okay. That's true, but that was fucking cool.
Oh man,
it was so funny because
fuck.
the bit is because Johnny Mnemonic like calls up the big pharmaceutical company who the data was stolen from. It's like, hey, I got your data, come get it out of my head. And they're like, sure. He's just like this white business guy. But Swerve is actually a decoy for the Yakuza guy who's the leader of this Japanese gang that's based out of China. That's also the regional manager
Assistant to the regional manager.
for this giant pharmaceutical company. So he has like this. He literally does a hand puppet motion over a little light grid that, as he's talking, somehow puts out the words and the lip flap of this virtual decoy.
Yeah, that took me out a little bit.
That took you out.
I mean, yeah, I'll say it. A few things did, but that one alone, I was like, well, you're just flapping your fucking hands like a literal hand puppet. And I did, however, thought it was funny that when he stopped, like the character on the screen just like kind of passes out.
Like the dude just
Yeah, exactly. I think I don't know. I think it's like I don't know what I thought that was cool, stupid but cool. Something I should say though, they didn't say they were based in China. They said they were based in Newark.
Well, no, because like when he goes to China, like that's immediately where the Yakuza jump out of. I guess you can say like, oh, the Yakuza are so powerful that they're just this worldwide group now. But it just seemed a little weird when they're like kind of mixing Asian cultures into like this big weird melting pot.
Yeah,
But I'm glad the leaders beat Takeshi. I love that man.
Yeah, the famous Japanese actor Beat Takeshi is the Yakuza leader, and he's known probably more locally to the States as Vic Romano in the English dub of MXC, because Beat Takeshi created Takeshi's Castle, which is the Japanese game show that MXC is based off of.
Yo, I watched the first couple episodes of that the other day. Kind of holds up. It's pretty funny.
That'd be fun to go back and explore.
After the podcast.
And we haven't mentioned it yet, Dolph Lundgren is a cyborg priest assassin.
Jesus time.
Jesus time.
Yeah.
Jeez.
that was amazing.
Oh my god. The Spider-Man 2 Pizza Time meme is no more. How come we've had this gold for years before that and nobody's used it? Just, hi, it's Jesus time. Just no hi, just somebody pops up in front of you, Jesus time, and then tries to kill you. It's the greatest movie ever made.
It's so weird because it's coming from Dolph, and it's perfect. It's gold.
The way Dolph is introduced to the story is he's being called, and you see, like, he's holding a cross in front of him. He's like, why are you calling me? Do you need my services? And it slowly reveals that he's got the cross is actually a knife.
It's a huge,
and that's
huge cable.
That's when they're like,
cool
he's a bad guy.
Also, he got a phone call through a TV in his Bible.
Oh, fuck.
That is also
he
true.
Did get that, yes. Oh, my God. But you know that cross K-bar knife is just like one solid piece of metal. That was cool.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like a crucifix switchblade. It's just a crucifix with a knife at the end, at the bottom.
See, now I want a crucifix switchblade. That just sounds.
That does
awesome.
sound awesome. Oh, it's like a tiny.
Go ahead.
It's like a tiny. Like, think about it. Like where his Jesus hands are. That's like the hilt. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, man. We need to make some calls. If these don't already exist.
Okay. Also, something else
With arms wide open.
Something else too about Dolph.
Under the sunlight.
His gimmick
Welcome to
is that
this
he
place.
crucifies people. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. Yes,
I'll
he
show
does.
you everything.
There's a really funny bit when Dolph attacks the gang when they're at Henry Rollins' like pop-up medical tent to try to like figure out how to get the info out. He pops up and Henry Rollins sacrifices himself to let Jane and Johnny get away. And so he goes to crucify Henry Rollins, but the bit is they show the same shot of him picking up the scalpel
Yes.
that puncture both of his hands.
Yes, the exact same.
There are a lot of bloopers. Like there's a point where Johnny runs out of bullets in a gun and he throws it, and the next scene he has it back.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of continuity control in this movie, but
It's
God
a
bless
boomerang gun.
Don't worry about
Don't
it.
you know?
I will say, Keanu 100% had a Nick Cage moment in this movie.
Oh
where
God!
he-
Like his big meltdown on.
Yes, like all my life I've been looking out for me. Which how could he if like his childhood was wiped? How could he remember that? But anyway, that's besides the point.
That's the price of getting the neural implant. You have to give up like your earliest memories.
Like I was like, he was swinging for the goddamn fences on that one, and that I loved every minute of it.
He's just like, I want a sandwich. I want a $10,000.
I want a club sandwich.
I want a $10,000 a night hooker. I want a
yeah, that too.
I want room service.
cold Mexican beer. I want my shirt laundered. Like, okay.
Lawn. That was wasn't that the last one too? He was like really like he was like, I want my shirts
Yeah.
laundered, and then like
That's
tucks in his shirt.
So that's when he kind of ran himself out there.
I want the 2 terabyte hard drive brain compartment.
I thought it was funny that in this world that Keanu was born in 1994.
Oh
because the movie
God.
takes place in 2021. What a scare! And also, I just thought it was funny that Henry Rollins totally comes off as like a conspiracy theorist in the movie because, like, yeah, the electronic radio waves they activate the virus that's killing all the people, which is like the 4G conspiracy theory with COVID right now.
It's holy shit. You're right, Pat. Oh my god. He
my
did.
God.
Okay, Spider, Henry Rollins' character, this guy's character had a whole total flip out scene where he was like, "It's all this electronic shit," like pointing to all the computers and stuff, and it's like, oh my god, that's hilarious.
I didn't even catch that one. Jesus
Man.
fucking Christ.
Sounds like this movie's dense.
It somehow has a lot going on, but it's a lot like it's very pretty in the face, but nothing not going up on
Yeah.
upstairs.
Yeah.
Another little tidbit I thought was interesting. One of the very early scenes when he pops into the room full of dudes that like draw on him. Like he's in a black suit and tie, and he calls himself Mr. Smith.
Oh yeah.
The movie,
I thought
the
that
movie
was pretty
just
funny.
practice for the Matrix.
Yes. That's
Yeah.
all it was.
Also, the movie is low key, kind of really similar to Elysium. Just saying.
yes.
I never got that. one either.
I remember that. I was literally thinking like, oh man, this is kind of like Elysium, and this is also kind of like The Matrix in a weird way. It was pretty fun. I don't know. I didn't like Keanu Reeves' acting. That's something I'll say as well.
Oh yeah, the acting in this movie, there's not really any good acting at all. It's not very good. The action fight scenes are pretty dog shit. One thing that just keeps popping up in my head is when Keanu's first getting the data put in his brain, he's in the bathroom hiding. That one guy comes up to the door and Keanu says, he pushes him and then he's dead.
Well,
He crashes through the bathroom
well, no, he didn't.
glass
He didn't
and
die.
dead.
He appeared later.
Yeah,
Oh, he
yeah,
did?
the bald guy came back.
Yeah.
But still, he pushed him like you tap someone on the shoulder to say, like, get him, go get him.
That's true. He did. It was kind of dumb. I thought he died. I was like, oh, that's kind of stupid. But he appears later to ambush him in Newark to cut off his head, and he literally says, "We should stop meeting like this." And it's like, Baldy. That's what he calls him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of moments in the movie that are kind of written like, hey, this is a really cool one-liner, and like it's just dumb. But the strength of the movie isn't really its quality. It's just how butt-fuck stupid it is.
Pretty much.
And I gave it a 2.5, but I could be convinced to put it up to a 3 because like You can ask Ken. There are so many moments in this film. I'm just grinning ear to ear because this movie is just balls out crazy.
Yeah, it was. I gave it the exact same score. Actually, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it's a good movie, but it can be a fun time.
It is
in the
definitely
right
a
setting,
fun time
in the right circumstances. Like, definitely, take a couple of like sips of something before you watch it. It's be a fun time with some alcohol, most definitely. I mean, hell, it was a fun time just watching it like normally, but still, it was a strange ride. Can we tell them about the fucking like swerve, unswerve, fucking Dolph Lundgren part?
Yeah, because there's a point where after they have this big climactic battle, they beat Dolph Lundgren by in part turning the Dolphins' echolocation
Sonic
radar onto Sonic blast into just like rupturing all the cybernetic implants in Dolph Lundgren's body, and then Keanu Reeves pushes him into electrical wire and it fries him. He burns him up to like this melty human skeleton, and then like they beat the big virtual ghost. They beam the cure to everybody's VCRs. The world is saved.
The VCRs, I forgot about.
The pharmacy corporation is in flames, but then there's a big musical sting. You see like the body start to rise up, the hands move, and the head twitch.
And we're like, what the fuck?
Bullshit! This fucker ain't coming back. And then it was a swerve. The revolutionaries just picking up the body and just yeeted out.
That was so
building.
fucking
It was
stupid.
basically credits after that. Yeah, like there's some point when you're like, okay, this movie is already like crazy, but why was that put in just to be like, fuck you, audience?
It doesn't make sense. And like Jane and Johnny, they're like visibly like, oh shit, like he's getting back up, but then it's like, no, it's like they're just lifting him up, and J Bone's like, throw that trash out. Like, what? Like, what was the purpose? Like, if they should have seen, maybe I could believe that maybe they're visibly shaken by this burnt corpse being finally, lifted up. Maybe that's what they're being shaken at. But no, the purpose of it was supposed to be like, got you. He's not really alive. Maybe.
One last. Also, the motherfucker just teleported up there. There's no physical way how he would have gotten to that building at the end of that final battle.
The power of Jesus.
It's Jesus time.
The power of Christ compelled him up 3 floors. Also, did you know that Val Kilmer was going to be in this movie?
Why wasn't he? Now I'm super pissed. Who was he supposed to play?
I don't know who he's supposed to play, but he was like set to be in the movie, but he left to work on Batman Forever.
Good choice.
But instead of Dolph Lundgren, we could have had U2's very own Bono as the street.
Fuck
teacher.
off.
No.
He was almost.
That's not real.
That's
not real.
Almost happened.
I don't.
Oh my.
Also, this role was so good, was so perfect for Dolph Lundgren. He didn't need to act in movies for another 15 years until The Expendables.
No.
Wow, that was his last movie until The Expendables.
Yep.
That's
Holy
insane.
Shit. Fucking hell.
So, yeah, this movie is crazy. Very much worth your time if you're into really cheesy, pulpy, bonkers movies.
Yeah, you know how like it was supposed to be Will Smith instead of Keanu Reeves in The Matrix? Sometimes I actually imagine how that movie would play out if he played it. Now, the whole Bono into Jesus Time Man moment, not so much. I don't want to imagine that movie at all. In fact, I would like to forget it already, and I haven't seen it.
There's no AU where you would appear into?
No.
But canon.
No.
Jesus Time.
No. Well, yeah, it is Jesus Time. Instead of Flamingo Time, it's now Jesus Time.
All right, well...
Nothing!
Well, moving on to our next film, we have 1997's The Devil's Advocate.
Shit.
And this was the movie that Cannon had picked for the episodes. First, just to tell us why you picked this film, and then sort of lead us into the conversation.
All right, The Devil's Advocate. I have seen this movie many, many times. My earliest memory with it is probably, I think Stars, maybe? Because, like back with Satellite, you'll have, Stars East and Stars West. Like, they would play the same block of movies, in a month or whatever, and just keep a certain one rolling all the time. And I remember The Devil's Advocate being on pretty much on repeat. And I've always loved this movie, and I was excited to be able to talk about it in some form or fashion because, and number one, speaking of accents, Keanu Reeves doing a southern accent. I got Country Keanu written tippy top on my notes right now.
Because Keanu is from Gainesville, Florida.
The most southern
Spoiler
place,
alert.
apparently.
It is. Gainesville is
Spoiler
very
alert,
southern.
this is not the last time he's going to use that southern accent.
Oh no! But
He comes from the dick end of Florida.
yeah, I've always thought this was a really well done movie, especially how things progress. Like you see how. Wait a minute, who's seen this? Who watched this?
Me.
Ken and I watched it.
I've
together.
seen it.
Yes, we did. And Colt. Oh,
I
everybody except Jonathan. Okay. Because I didn't want to talk about it for long because I've seen it 1,000 times. I do have things to say about it, but I'm really curious to hear what everybody else thought of this movie. Sitting in a room, I just want to see if anyone's enjoying the movie as much as I am. Because I actually had to stop taking notes because I haven't seen this movie in a long time, but I did want to watch it again before the podcast, and I got to the point where I just stopped and I just watched the movie.
You were just in it after.
Yeah, it was done. It was over with after that.
Even though Keanu's the main character of the movie, Al Pacino really stole the show for me.
Motherfucker.
Oh,
Yeah, he did.
absolutely. Absolutely.
I absolutely love Al Pacino in this movie. It just makes me want to consume Al Pacino movies.
do it.
I will. All right, bye.
Don't do it.
Oh, I never mind.
Well,
But it's a
do it.
very, very fun movie. Weird ending. It's a weird ending. But
Yeah.
that
You want me to
that ending.
Sorry.
I mean, we'll get into it, but I have to vibe with Colt here. Al Pacino, probably my favorite, one of my favorite depictions or depictions of the devil. If you don't know, the devil is in this movie.
What?
Yeah.
Al Pacino.
I guess we should explain a little bit about what happened and what's going on in this movie.
Yeah, I guess what is sort of the basic synopsis for the film?
Basically, there's this lawyer in Florida who has never lost a case. Never lost a case ever. And then all of a sudden, this guy from New York, this big wig, gives him an offer to work at this big fancy smanchy law firm in New York. And he and his wife move to New York, and then shenanigans ensue. And I forgot how, fucked up some of the cases were.
Oh, yeah.
That first case is pretty heavy.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
teacher.
The first one is a teacher who molests his student. I think it's middle school grade, I think.
Yeah, and Keanu noticed the teacher right next to him doing some very bad hand signals to the table, and he
Yeah.
started to touch his penis in court. And Keanu's like, I need 15.
Yeah.
And he goes into the bathroom and screams.
Yeah, literally,
Is this-
Keanu's character's like, can we get a recess? And that's when his character's got so fucking pissed because he's I thought that was a pretty good performance. He was like, you could have fucking fooled me, I thought you were innocent, and man, I don't know, I really like that.
I always found that was his conscience taking over a little bit. He's like, God damn it, I want to win, but motherfucker, this shit, really? You are a creep. Fuck.
He literally does it in court, and that was funny too that we learn about his character. That's interesting because I've heard this so many times, is that his character originally worked for the DA's office and was putting people in prison, but then later, because of course money, he becomes an attorney who a defense attorney. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And
He just
Yeah.
defends people.
yeah, and yeah, fucked some fuck shit.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's a job that it's a hard one, because if you know that they've done something, it doesn't matter. Your job isn't to prove that they didn't do it. It's to get them a lesser sentence. It's
Well, if you know they did it, you're legally obligated to not represent them.
yeah, but there's a lot of cases where like you didn't do that and you didn't tell me that, okay?
Yeah.
Or to the point, like there's a case later on in the film where the client, played by Coach Craig T. Nelson, he's like an objectively bad person. Like he's spun around his wife. Like he does all these like embezzlement and like just like a bunch of crooked shit. But the whole gimmick is he's trying to get him off from murder.
Triple homicide.
So like triple homicide. So basically like yeah, he's a bad dude, and I'm not gonna deny that. But like my job is to prove that he didn't kill these people. So there's a whole thing there. Like he's not a good person, but like he's innocent of this. He's trying to prove he's innocent of this like this big horrible thing.
I'm sorry. Did Cannon finish his synopsis? I don't remember.
Well, I was gonna go for a little bit longer, but it's just weird. Like a part of me, this is one of the reasons why time travel needs to be possible. Because could you imagine going back and not seeing a trailer for this movie, not knowing what this movie was about, and then pressing play and then watching it? Because like he gets this job at this law firm, and you really don't get like the big. Some like weird shit is afoot, but you don't really get the full effect of it until the end of the movie, because he tackles on bigger profile cases. He's always getting pulled away from his wife, and his wife in turn is like slowly losing her mind because she's actually seeing what's really going on. But Keanu's character's out doing what he's doing, and it's just I love how they do it because it's all a fucking test. Should we just like say the ending?
Yeah,
so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Or
well, I feel like we can work up to it, because I think what the movie does really well is just give you that slow burn of like, okay, you think it's a movie about this like this seemingly decent young lawyer who's on a high rise of success, get pulled into like what's this giant shady like law firm, and he's sort of like slowly kind of being like ingratiated into like the more seedy aspects of it. And then as his wife is being slowly sort of molded by the wives of the other lawyers and like Al Pacino's own character, and then there's one moment in the film where that everything just turns on its head, and then that's when Charlize Theron, Keanu's wife in the movie, is out with on the day with the girls, the other lawyer wives, and then some weird shit happens, and that really precipitates her exponential mental decline.
yeah, at a rapid and fierce pace.
Goddamn, you just feel bad for Charlize Theron in this movie.
Yeah.
It's like so bad because Keanu at this point, that's part of the movie itself, because like he's being greedy here, greed,
Yeah.
and like living his dream, doing what he wants. And granted, Charlize Theron's character was for this 100%, but then like you said earlier, a slow burn. Like she's doing something so tiny as like picking paint for a wall, like paint that she wants on the wall, and they're like, no, not with your complexion. No, not that one. That one doesn't match the fucking brown spot in the floor. And it's just like little things like that, and it starts growing. Like God, they like Al Pacino's character. They have a little chit chat, and like convinces her to change her hair. It's like, you look better this way. And
she wasn't making any choices for herself. She was only looking for the approval from people around her. Like with the paint selection, her friend just said, "Nah, that green's not good. Seafoam's not good. Green's not good." Just stupid shit like that. She just couldn't make choices for herself.
Which made me angry because I love green. It's my favorite color.
Basically, they're slowly robbing her of her like independence and like own agency, and then you just see Keanu drifting further away from her as he's being just like shown all the glitz and glamour and like the success of being this unscrupulous, highly paid lawyer.
Yeah. Also, everything. I mean, they're throwing everything at you besides a giant neon sign about him having the hots for one of the lawyers at the firm.
Yes, because like he has that wandering eye throughout the film for this like redheaded lawyer lady in a tight fitting red dress. And like I wonder if she's somehow a force of temptation.
Yeah.
What gave it
Her
away?
name was Christabala.
Or was it Christabella?
Oh,
because she's Italian.
maybe Christabella.
You see Al Pacino throw some little Italian in there.
Yeah, he talks about the Dunkachino.
Yeah. And you see how like crazy, God damn it, like you say how crazy her world is turning, and on the flip side, Keanu is getting involved in this triple homicide case, and there's even a point where Al Pacino, the head of this law firm, is pretty much like, "I'm taking you off the case. You need to take care of your wife."
Yeah.
And then he's just like, no, I can't do that. And, like,
I might.
Here's what I'm scared of. Yeah, he's like, if he leaves, she gets better, and then he'll resent her for it. He was basically handed an out, but no, he still wanted to continue doing what he was doing.
Al Pacino gave him just enough rope to hang himself.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that was also interesting too, that case, because it's a triple homicide, and it was funny because like immediately it's like, there's no way anybody, there's no way you could win this case. And like, this movie isn't like all about, it is about their work and stuff. But that, I just thought that was interesting how like, you kind of like, I was really immersed in that. Like, triple homicide, you can't win this case. But then later they find out that this guy that he's defending was banging his assistant secretary. Yeah. And
assistant,
but then it was interesting because later Keanu's character Lomax was interviewing her, and he literally asked her this simple question of, was he circumcised? And she couldn't answer it. And it was just kind of like okay, that's kind of weird. Because
well, I also thought that was him because before that he was all like, the lawyer's gonna change his tone of voice. He's gonna ask you questions that are like out of left field, and I figured like the uncut question was a part of that.
But see, that was interesting too, because he was like, you've been having sex with him for how many months now, and you don't know if he's cut or not, like. And then later we find out that she was lying. Like they never It was. I mean, it's a triple homicide. It's obvious that this guy in the homicide, he killed his wife, one of his kids, and their maid. And like, that I thought that was interesting, that part. But let's. Are we still building up to the ending? Like, because it's batshit fucking crazy.
Well, yeah. We might as well take it there.
No, I should say too, with Charlize Theron character, it really gets fucking crazy when I didn't expect to see Charlize Theron nude, or if she wasn't.
Yeah, there's a lot of naked titties in this movie, so heads up for that. And like whole ass naked Charlize Theron.
And that threw me off, but like that's where we get the turn where he ends up winning that triple homicide case, gets the guy off, and he comes to find his wife in a church, and turns out that she was raped by his boss, who is the law firm that he's working at. It's his name's in it. I don't know the full name, but his boss is John Milton. That's played by Al Pacino, and she was raped by him, and but he was there at the courthouse during the entire trial. So it's like, how did this happen? So something has been afoot, but now it's really afoot.
And you said Al Pacino's character's name is John Milton.
I will get to that. I will get to that later.
It was
because that's pretty on the nose.
No, literally as soon as they introduced him like as John Milton, I was like, oh fuck me, that's bam right there, smack dab.
Yeah, let's get through this thing. Should we go through the Barzoon? What happened to his character? Fucking Ferris Bueller's principal.
Because Barzoon, he's like the managing attorney. He sort of like oversees like a lot of all the other micromanaging businesses, but he's sort of run down by invisible demon homeless man by Al Pacino's doing to sort of get him out of the way so Keanu Reeves' character can take over this very prominent position in this law firm. And so, like, after winning the case, after taking up this prestigious position, and having a distraction removed from his life, we should say, Keanu Reeves is like he's in this very delicate position where he's like the top of the world, but he's completely shattered inside. Yeah. So he finally goes to confront John Milton, Al Pacino's character, about why all this is happening to him. Why is his life falling apart? But also he's getting extremely successful.
Well, the main reason confronting him is like, well, we got to forget about his wife killing herself in the crazy house. Mm-hmm. Like, this mirror breaks and there's this giant shard of glass, and which I thought the shard of glass was too big for that little mirror. Because the reason she freaked out, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. She freaks out because she sees the same demon face that she saw with the other lawyer wives while they're out shopping, and then she freaks out, like knocks her out of the way, and there's glass on the floor, and then she ends up locking the door, and Keanu Reeves is like banging on it, trying to get in there, and then she just says, "I love you," and just takes a shard of glass and just rips her own throat in two. And just,
that was a pretty brutal scene.
Yeah,
on top of just all the brutality that's happened to this woman, physically and psychically.
It still gets to me a little bit, not as much as it used to, but that was one thing in movies that I could not stand watching or looking at, was like slit throats. I don't know why, that just freaked me the fuck out.
To me, it's slit throats, stuff with eyes, and like wrists being cut. That's a big, I guess, trigger for me, because that's fuck.
So he goes to confront Milton, and and we also learned before he even goes there that Milton is Keanu's father.
Yeah, because his mom reveals that because earlier in an elevator scene, Milton meets his mom, and he's like, "Have you ever been to New York?" And she's like, she doesn't answer because Keanu kind of answers for her, but she's like, "Yes." She tells him that I have been to New York, part of like some mission trip or whatever, and that, you know, she met him when he was like a waiter, and then from then on, you know, the rest is history. Lomax is born after after that meeting.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, that's another thing I liked about that, because he was a waiter at that point in his life, and it goes back to what he said to Keanu earlier in the film. He didn't like say this like word for word, but he basically was telling him, you know, don't get too big for your britches, just like remain small, like as in not to draw attention to yourself, which makes a lot of sense in how this movie ends up going in the first place.
Plus there's a good callback where when Keanu first revealed he came from a very religious household with his mother, Milton cites a Bible verse, like, "I send you out amongst the wolves," and his mom says that to him later on in the film, and like it clicks, like, hold on. And plus there's a neat scene when he first meets Milton. There's a moment where you see Milton's shoes, and they're similar to Keanu. They both wear the same type of shoes.
Yeah, and it also gave me, I actually use this movie line today when people like ask me if I like go to church and stuff. I literally tell them this line: "No, I'm on parole, early release for time served." I've always fucking loved that line in the movie. Love it. Fucking love it. But he confronts Milton, final fucking showdown, and asks, "What did you do to my wife?" And Milton pretty much admits to just doing the dirty, dirty, nasty with his wife, because she even said while they were in the church that like a part of her, because of who he is, like wanted to do it, but she couldn't say no and whatnot. And then after Keanu unloads his pistol, almost, into the devil, into Pacino, it's the devil. It's the literal devil.
And this is when Pacino just goes full ham for the rest of the movie.
Oh man, that scene is so great. I can listen to Pacino just ramble about just hell nothings for forever.
It's literally this long, really good monologues of just like him talking about, you know, humanity, temptation, God as well, which is really good. I liked how he compared lawyers as modern day priests. I thought that was really fucking good, because priests, you know, especially in Catholicism, are the ones who offer forgiveness. But now it's lawyers who are essentially, in a way, offering forgiveness by either getting them off or, having them, found guilty. I thought that was a pretty good delivery.
Yeah.
It's through the law that the absolution of crimes happens.
And also too, while he's just going off, he has a piece of art behind him. It's like a sculpture, and then it starts to morph and reveals its true form, which is like which is supposed to like resemble what I assume is like Milton imagery of like the fall of the rebel angels, something like that. Like I was gonna say to Jonathan earlier, if you don't know, John Milton wrote Paradise Lost, which is about Satan being casted out of heaven.
Yeah. Which
Oh.
even more so than the Bible probably is the number one thing that has shaped our cultural conception
Yeah,
of what the devil is.
Because it's so interesting because my dad will always.
Because he's sexy, Satan.
Yeah, because that's funny because I remember we were because I learned about I read Paradise Lost in my 12th grade English class, and it was just so funny because when I've heard so much from Paradise Lost that I didn't realize that is from Paradise Lost and not from the fucking Bible, because so many people have quoted it and have thought it's from the Bible, and that's just so funny how much of an impact it's had on Christian religion. And there were so many. It was just funny because I think the entire class, except for probably one person, was not Christian. Everybody else was Christian. It was actually a pretty small class, but everybody else was just shitting on Satan. And the whole point of Paradise Lost is like, well, maybe Satan's more of a rebel than he is, this creature or whatever. And it was just so funny because people were like, oh, I don't think he's a rebel, blah, 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 blah. Like, well, you missed the point of it then, you idiot.
Yeah, and like Milton is still like devil bad, but it definitely humanizes Satan.
Because it's
in a way that the previous works have.
Yeah, and it was funny because like it was. I remember in my class, my teacher called it an epic, and somebody was like, "It's not really that epic." Like, well, it's written as an epic, so it's an epic. Like, you don't.
Yeah, by like the literary definition, it's like a goddamn epic.
Doesn't mean
fucking right.
Yeah, exactly.
Like cool or badass.
Like, how stupid are you that you're in an advanced 12th grade English class and you didn't even know that? Like, fuck.
But you got to remember where we went to school, Wenzel. That's not much of a.
I know, and that's what I really enjoyed that because a lot of stuff was taken from Paradise Lost that was used in his dialogue. Oh, so fucking good.
That's just a good ass
name. Also, what comes from You know what else comes from Paradise Lost? Adamantium.
Oh, what?
Adamantium?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, like the metal that's in Wolverine's bones?
Yeah, there's a reference to it in Paradise Lost.
Damn, they had the MCU planned out in Paradise Lost?
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah.
It has been a while since I've read it. That was fucking 2017, so that was 3 years ago. I never picked it up after that.
Also, the statues fuck.
The statues do fuck.
Statues
That's
bone.
true.
Specifically when like real people bone in front of them, because as the scene continues, you find out that the woman that Keanu has been kind of lusting over this whole time is his half sister, and the devil wants them to bone to basically bring out the Antichrist, because the devil wants a family. It's his time now. You can't see him. His time is now. For those of you at home, I did the John Cena hand thing, but. Right before the Nimbly Bimbly starts, Keanu goes, because earlier, he was talking, Pacino's character, Satan, was talking about, free will. It is a bitch, which most certainly is. So, right before Keanu decides to do the damn thing, he says, you know what? I do have a choice. Free will, right? And then blows his own brains out.
What a bummer of an ending.
And then Al Pacino's like, the devil is freaking out. There's fire behind him. He like force pushes his daughter, and then she like turns into a mummy corpse for some reason.
She shrivels up.
She just
like it's just a fire because like you see Al Pacino like literally a dude on fire, just like screaming his head off, and all the shit around him catches on fire. All the naked statue fuckers they catch on fire,
and for some reason turns into Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, because
with long hair.
All his clothes burn off. You just see like shirtless Al Pacino, and then at the last second he morphs back into Lucifer. I guess.
Yeah, flaming wings, all that
like
jazz.
Long hair Keanu, angel wings, screams one more, and then zoop! It just sucks back into Keanu when he was in the very first trial, adjourned to the bathroom. Like it all happened in his head.
Yeah, we didn't talk about his reporter buddy that came into the bathroom with him, and he's just like, can't win them all. Like gives him the wink and leaves, and that's when we come back. Keanu's like, duh! Like freaking out in front of the mirror where he left off at the very beginning of the movie, and the dude's like, it's like, can't win them all, man. Walks out and goes in to that case and just says, hey, I cannot represent my client anymore. So he basically says, fuck this, I'm out. They leave out, and his reporter friend's like, God, dude, I have to have the exclusive. This is huge. This is like huge news. Like a defense attorney just walks out because he grows a conscience. This is big fucking shit. And he tells him, all right, I'll call you at 8 a.m. I'll talk to you then. And then he gives that wink again and then turns into Al Pacino's the devil. And from a line he said earlier in the movie, vanity, definitely my favorite sin. And then credits. I want to know what you guys think of this ending, because me personally, I kind of dig it. Not because, I know the bad guy can't always win, but in this movie he definitely did in a way.
It's like, here we go again.
Yeah, like Groundhog Day, Devil edition.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking like, yeah, I actually really like that ending. I was like, because like when he morphs back into, I guess I can assume Lucifer, like you said, Pat. He for some, because he has so much power, he literally just throws he alters reality completely. So he throws everything back in time to that moment to play out a different scenario where, Keanu is influenced to have a conscience and to actually go with his gut, but still is tempted again by vanity, because that was the thing that Al Pacino told Keanu's character, was that like, you've been driven by vanity this entire time, but this time it's a different route. So it's like, it's still driven by vanity, but this time it's into stardom, because he's going to be in the limelight, he's going to be interviewed and stuff. So again, at the end, the devil does win. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. To me, it's weird. I think of it as that is the focal point. Like, say it doesn't work out a second time, and it goes right back to the shitter where he left off again. Because like that is the one point. It's like, well, fuck, let's go down the list here.
It happens the same way again, and he loses the second time. He's like, God damn it, I'm out of ideas.
But that's the thing too, is that I think it's funny that like, if Satan exists, that means God has to exist. What the fuck is God doing? Just watching this shit happening and just not caring? I mean, that's what
he's playing Xbox.
That's what Al Pacino's character says originally, is like he just watches. And like I'm like, yeah, I guess so. I mean, I guess he doesn't really give a shit, which I think is funny too. It's funny because he makes he's talking about God's rules, and he makes an obvious connection to the Bible with Adam and Eve. I think that was funny, was like, look, but don't touch. And, that whole reference with Eve and the forbidden fruit, I thought that was fun. Everything that Al Pacino did at the end was fun to me. Good, crazy shit.
It was really good. It was really good times.
Now we just need the Devil's Advocate 2, where he sees this whole bitch run over again.
Hey, I'd watch it.
And like I made the realization earlier before we started recording that Keanu Reeves is 33 when this movie came out, and Al Pacino was 56. So Al Pacino is the same age that Keanu Reeves is now when he made that movie back in the 90s, which is sort of crazy just how well Keanu is aged.
Yeah.
Looks youthful all the time.
It's the blood. He's drinking it. I know he is.
Yeah.
It's all that nipple blood from Dracula.
Oh, fuck.
I didn't get a chance to rate this one on Letterboxd yet, but if I were to give it a star score right now, probably a solid 4. I love this movie.
It's a very good 3.5 for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. It's a very good 3.5 for me. I really enjoyed it. It's funny because I watched a movie that I think I gave like 3 stars this year, and I did not enjoy it. Yeah, fun time. You can't go wrong with this movie. No way.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's a legitimately solid movie. Like I can't really think of any serious criticisms I have with it, other than just sort of being like a tonality thing. Like, this is a great movie. It's not one I would just throw on because it is a slow burn. It is a pretty serious movie, but it's a great.
Oh yeah, no, the tone is definitely a dark one. I didn't.
Oh, most definitely.
We're dealing with also the same color palette as Constantine, which I think was kind of fun too. Yeah.
Hell yeah, 2 movies with Keanu and Satan. Sign me up. Double feature.
I mean, like half the movies that we talked about today are supernatural related with Keanu in them. Dracula, the Devil's Advocate, and now the next movie is Constantine, which is
shit, yeah.
Well, this is a movie that Colt picked, so I want him to talk about why he picked this film and just sort of set the stage for the plot before we get into our bigger conversation. Colt?
I picked Constantine because I remember when I was very little, my mom and dad had rented it, and they watched, like... I remember they watched it, and I was freaked out by the opening scenes so bad that I had to go to bed. Specifically, the car crash and the scene that made me go to bed was the bed scene where the mirror gets thrown out the window.
Oh, that's like the first fucking scene, too.
Yeah.
That's the very start of the movie.
I was like 5 years old, so...
That's understandable.
I mean, it's reasonable.
But yeah, that was a big reason why I wanted to watch it. Also because we were going for the lower quality Keanu movies, and I saw that everybody else really picked some stinkers, so I wanted to get some good ones in there, or at least get one good one.
So now we know how we got to the film. So what is sort of the basic plot of the film for Constantine?
It's about what is he I don't know what to call him. Is he
I would call
priest?
No, he's he's
No.
what you would probably call a modern day mystic.
Okay, he's a modern day mystic going around doing exorcisms on people that require them.
And we will say this is actually an adaptation of DC's comics, Constantine.
It's
the
Hellblazer,
and all
yes.
that stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a chance to rewatch this for the show, but I've seen this a few times in the past, and I love this movie.
Yeah, same. I fucking love this movie, and it is also my favorite depiction of hell in any movie I've ever seen.
Yes.
Okay.
I love how they portray hell. It's my favorite. It's pretty much just our world now just mirrored in like fire and hot
and ash.
breezes.
Yes.
And ash and no fucking face monsters.
It reminds me of the Metro universe, the cool Russian shit going on there, where everything's destroyed and you have demons and monsters roaming.
It's a wasteland, essentially.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, it looked really good. I'm sorry, I had a thought that it went to hell, and I can't get it now.
There was a lot of this movie that went in one side of my head and went right out the other, but there's some parts that I will never forget. There's the beginning part I'll never forget, and the very end I'll never forget. The middle, that's where I'm a little lost. I don't really remember what happens in the middle.
Wow.
Can you?
Yeah, I watched the movie. Of course I remember.
Then say it.
You want me to describe the entire middle of the movie?
No, we've been doing synopses, and I don't remember, so I was thinking someone else can do it.
No, we are forcing you to describe this entire movie right now.
Okay, there's a scene in the streets where there's demons, and he's like, "Get back!"
No, I'm sorry. Okay, no, seriously though, this the movie starts off quoting, I believe. I'm not sure, but it quotes about the Spear of Destiny. If you don't know, the Spear of Destiny is the spear by a Roman soldier that used to pierce Jesus in his ribs, and that's what killed him. And, during World War II, there were a lot of, quote, holy artifacts that were kept by the Nazis, part of their occultism and shit. And one of those was the Spear of Destiny. And the quote said that whoever controls the Spear of Destiny controls the world, the fate of the world. And
that was one of the missions that Hitler was said to seek out, the Spear of Destiny. It was not just Spear of Destiny, a ton of occult stuff. That's why you got all the Nazi shit being wrapped in the occult for 100 years now. Not 100 years. A long-ass time. With the Spear of Destiny, I'm really interested in it. That with the Spear of Destiny, if you were to drop it, whoever had it dies. You will die in a short amount of time. So if you ever have the Spear of Destiny in your hands, do not drop it.
Yeah, wow, I've never heard that story, but that's pretty fucking epic. So yeah, and then the movie starts off in Mexico with a man who stumbles upon like some wooded underground wooded area. No, I say wooded like a storage area because the wood's rotted or whatever, and he finds this thing, a little nod wrapped in a Nazi flag, and it's obviously the Spear of fucking Destiny that mentions in the opening title. And he goes to he starts hearing voices, and he's like, he starts to run away, and that's the car crash scene that Colt mentions, because as he's walking away, a car comes and hits him, and he looks like he annihilated the fucking car, and the guy just walks off. And there's obviously something wrong with that because his eyes turn black, I think, as well. So there's
and also to Colt's credit, like that scene, it is a very jumpy jump scare. I saw this in theaters when it came out, and fuck me, everybody in the theater just screamed,
I bet, man,
when that car whammed that guy. No. And then, he gets up and continues his journey.
I'm also in the same boat with Colt. When I was a kid, I only saw a few parts of this, and I was terrified. This scared me because I was a very little Christian boy. And, that was something I told Colt about this, that, certain parts of Christianity, certain Christians, even certain sects, believe that if you consume any sort of material that makes reference to the devil, that mentions him, or has the devil in it, then you are partaking in devil worship. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, like demons are going to attack me because I've watched this movie now.
I'd never understood that, because how would you know the signs of the devil if you never learn about him?
Because religion doesn't make sense.
Well, it doesn't make sense, but I mean, from a standpoint, like, if you read the Bible, then you'll know that the devil exists. But because they don't believe in iconography or making idols and stuff. If you're making idols of the unholy, then that is considered unholy worship, and that if you are recreating unholy things in the form of media, then that in turn is like worshiping them in a like, it doesn't make sense, but I kind of get it, even though I don't believe in it. Fucking atheist.
It's basically just putting to form what doesn't have one, and that kind of puts these images and ideas in people's heads, sort of makes them think about it, makes them curious. So, but like you said, it's down in Mexico. Constantine's on a job. He has to exorcise a demon out of a little girl, and that's a really good scene.
It is so fucking.
It was
good.
so good because he's in. It cuts to him being in L.A. and he, this guy's like, "I got you a good one, John." And John is trying to exorcise his girl, and like it's like this demon's trying to claw its way out of her body, and like this is where we get into some neat stuff where he's like, get me a mirror, and like like being very specific, and like, oh my, it was just a good scene because he gets that mirror, you get to see the demon, the people holding the mirror, he's like, don't look. One guy looks, ends up getting aged instantly. Crazy shit. Ah, man. Then the demon gets trapped in the mirror because he's able to exercise it out, and he breaks the mirror, and the demon is fucked. Oof.
And the mirror breaks a car.
Like, it's a big ass like ornamental mirror.
I completely forgot Shia LaBeouf was in this movie. Like,
Yep.
he plays the his essentially his apprentice and driver.
And one of the biggest driving like kind of dramas in the film, we find out like Keanu Reeves is Constantine. Known in the comics that he's just a chain smoker. He has lung cancer.
Yes.
And very advanced because he just pumps out like packs and packs a day. So he ends up eventually leads into a meeting with Gabriel, played by Tilda Swinton, in her androgynous glory.
Yes.
I love Tilda Swinton so much. She's so good.
Yeah. I that was like her portrayal of Gabriel was really good. I forgot she was in it as well, and she was great. And that's like the big plot of this movie, is that like the reason why John Constantine is exorcising demons, he calls it deporting them back to hell. And the reason why he does this is so that, you know, he can earn favor to get into heaven, which is essentially like buying your way into heaven. And Gabriel literally tells him, "You're fucked." Like,
Yeah, because Constantine, he committed suicide when he was a lot younger, and because of that, you know, being Catholic, you commit suicide, you're done. And he actually died for 2 minutes, and he said that it was pretty much a lifetime in hell for those 2 minutes. But of course, he got brought back. But his fate is now sealed because he's already killed himself, and now he has lung cancer. So when he dies, he knows where he's going.
Yeah, that's I guess that's probably maybe I guess in 2020 time. It's probably maybe a little clunky thing, just how people look at mental health and suicide. Because I guess probably some versions of Catholicism, suicide is a mortal sin. So
Yeah.
that's apparently it's a very high grievance in the eyes of God to a lot of Christian interpretations. So like that's a big point in the film, not only to Constantine but also other characters as well.
yeah.
Because
Go ahead.
Because he meets this the police detective in the course of the movie who has a twin sister who is apparently a psychic who committed suicide because she was just kind of overrun with sort of what her ability allowed her just to hear the voices of the undead and the damned, and it led to her death. But what we find out is that her twin sister has a very valuable piece of information about all the demons coming into the real world, and this was also connected to the disappearance of the spirit of destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, something we should mention too. The reason why Constantine originally committed suicide, because he was going through the same issues that she was having, was that he's able to perceive and communicate like with these entities that he sees. And that's also a big plot point too, is that there's regular demons and there's regular angels, but then there's half breeds that he calls them, which are half angels, and then there are half demons, and he can see their true forms, which is like the same thing that Isabel, the girl who kills herself, can see, and that's why she kills herself.
God damn, the world building in this movie is
Right?
amazing. This could have been like a TV I mean, well, there was a Constantine TV show, but it wasn't this iteration.
But there's a really great setting in the movie that it just looks great. One of my favorite scenes in the movie or sequences is when they are trying to get the information that his sister had, but there's a bit where he and the police detective are out in the street by this in the street in the middle of the night. And then, all the demons start coming, and all the lights in the city start slowly dimming out. To the only thing left is, these neon lights in, this Latino sort of reliquary store. And then when that last light of the cross turns out, it just goes dark. I'm getting chills thinking about just how cool the scene is, because then Constantine, lights up like a rag, and you just see demons everywhere. It is so good.
I'm gonna have to watch this soon. God damn.
Yeah.
it. I wanted to watch it for this, but we just no time.
Yeah, same here.
Does he say what that rag is that he burns?
I don't remember. Is that some kind of like sacrament that he sets on fire and makes like a holy flame? It's been a while for me, but just the cinematography, the direction in this film, it's just, to me, it's just superb, because like the movie's just oozing with like just like visual character, and the world is just so concrete. And I just, even though this movie in the past was very disparaged for being so different from the Hellblazer comics, but Justin, who is of course, runs a comic book store, loves Hellblazer comics, and John Constantine, he loves this movie, even though it's considered by many to be kind of like a bastardized edition of Hellblazer.
Yeah, nowhere near like the source material. I mean, it takes things here or there, but still, it's a phenomenal fucking movie. It does not get the credit it deserves.
Yeah, I think it's great. Like, I've never read Hellblazer or anything, and I assume that delves more into, because it's DC, so there's more to the mystic side of DC than just angels and demons and heaven and hell, But this solely just focuses on Judeo-Christian religion and everything surrounding that. And man, it was so fun. Like Cannon said, the world building was great. Something I said in like a review sort of was like, I love kind of like how he deals with these creatures and stuff. It's kind of like science like processes, but I don't think science is the right word. It's like they're like processes is the best way to describe it, because there's a cool part in there where he's getting like items and stuff from this guy, and he gets like he gets grenades with holy water. He gets something called Dragon's Breath, which, as you can guess, shoots out fucking fire. Looks awesome.
It's like this golden holy like grenade launcher.
Oh my god, I forget in that line he goes, "Dragon's Breath, I thought you couldn't get it anymore." He goes, "Well, I
knows a guy." It's really good. And then he gets an Amityville screamer beetle, which was like, okay, what reference is this? I don't know, but I love it, because apparently like demons hate it. And then he uses it later in a really good scene where he gets jumped by a full-fledged demon that's using insects.
The fucking bug demon.
I forgot. Yeah, no, that was so cool. And he's fighting him, and the voice acting was like, "You should have stayed away, Exorcist," or something. And then he uses the beetle, and then he gets the bug gets fucking hit by a car. So, but that was cool as shit too, man.
My favorite scene with his weaponry, it's easily the one where he actually gets to go John Wick. He goes sicko mode. It's towards the end of the movie, but the way he just goes ham on a crowd of demons with his badass shotgun grenade launcher type thing, man, you don't see Keanu do shit like that until John Wick, I believe.
It's like the Holy Cross shotgun. I looked for toy versions of that when that movie came out.
That's
too.
fair.
There was nothing. There was nothing.
We didn't get the holy hand grenade launcher.
Oh man, and also another really good scene where he uses that is when he gets the jump on Balthazar. Oh, which was such a good interrogation scene, because it's like this like businessman with like a coin that like instead of flipping, it magically kind of like flows on his fingers and stuff, kind of like Two-Face bit. But like he's looking at himself in a mirror, and the mirror starts like transforming and melting, and that's when it's Keanu using the Dragon's Breath to fucking burn through the mirror, and that throws him back. And then like he attempts to he throws a fucking holy water at his face, burns it off. But Balthazar is a fucking half demon, so he has him he has him hold him by the throat, and then I love it. I love it to this day. Keanu pulls out knuckle dusters with fucking crosses on them and proceeds to beat the shit out of Balthazar. Oh,
fuck!
It's so
That
good.
wasn't
I like to add. I just want to add Balthazar is played by the lead singer of Bush, Gavin Rossdale.
Really?
Yeah.
I couldn't have picked that out back in the day.
Like, we haven't even talked about that fucking scene in Midnight's Club, like the neutral club.
Yeah.
Like where you're like, no, hey, no business conducted here, motherfuckers. It kind of like the goddamn, like later on, the Continental.
Yeah.
It's like, angels and demons, you can fucking chill here. You want to fight, you better get out. This is my house. This awesome scene where it's, oh God, I can never pronounce his name. What's that actor's name?
He's in.
I don't want to fuck it up. Here, let me show you.
I know exactly who he's been in a lot of movies.
Oh, I don't know how to pronounce that. But I know
Anyway,
who
he
you're
like
talking
fucking
about.
just pounds his fist on his table. Go, you know the rules of my house. When you are here, you will abide by them. And they're like, yeah. Even though fucking Balthazar still cheats, chokes up Constantine while he's trying to leave.
Jimin Hanso.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a really he's the guy that says who when like Star-Lord asks who he like try to build up who he is in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. It's just like so many cool scenes. Even like, I mean, I say little, but you know, a lot of special effect went into it. Like when Constantine was describing, you know, the world between angels and demons in that convenience store, that's when his buddy, that priest guy, just like drowns himself in booze, and you see like, hey, you see Balthazar turn into his demon form, and then you see the clerk at the fucking store turns out to be an angel, and it's fucking like these beautiful wings just come out, and it's like, no, motherfucker.
Well, speaking of wings, like when you see Gabriel's like true form in the movie at the end.
God!
That whole final sequence with Constantine, Gabriel, and the devil, it's fucking amazing.
Yes, the ending to this movie is, I think it's perfection.
Like
I
love this movie.
I love how it turned out.
I don't want to say too much more because I still want Jonathan to get the full bit because he hasn't seen this.
Oh shit! I did not know you haven't seen this. I'm gonna shut up now. No more podcasts for Canon. Bye.
So just wrapping up. Cole, what were your sort of final opinions on Constantine?
I absolutely loved it. I thought it was very fun. It was. I say this, but I gave it like 3.5. I know it's such a low score. It's a very fun movie. It's my favorite scene. I can't even say it. I don't want to spoil it for Jonathan, but the finger. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. It was the fucking greatest. You know what, Jonathan? We're watching this soon.
Please.
We're making
That
this
finger
happen,
that finger
Yes.
was good. That was real fucking good.
We gotta make time this weekend.
All right.
It's just too good not to watch.
Okay, just for the people who have seen it, just a quick little poll. Who had the better devil, Constantine or Devil's Advocate?
Ooh.
Devil's Advocate.
Oh, wait.
That's
This
hard
is tough
because-
for me. This is very tough for me.
because they're both hammy as fuck. But with a little bit that the devil's in Constantine, he fucking
Yeah, it's
steals it.
I may have fucked myself because,
Yeah.
like, I think like straight on like going like full blown devil just based on what we've seen. As much as I love Al Pacino, I got to go Constantine on this one.
Canon, I don't know why you asked this hard question because looking back on it, I loved his depiction of the devil. It was so
When I think about the devil, I think of a more Al Pacino's portrayal because I feel like the devil in Constantine was more villainy, but the actual devil that is described is like a trickster. He's like wanting you to be punished, like how
I mean that
his character is punished in Devil's Advocate by having to relive this thing.
I
over and
mean
over
a
again.
trickster character like the devil is a villain though. Like if we're thinking back
Well, a hyper villain that's like, I want you to live. Bloop. He's a hyper villain in Constantine.
I know where Colt's coming from because the devil in Constantine he's a bit more like, yes, he is hammy, but he's a bit more like on the nose with like how evil he is, and Al Pacino's devil is you definitely get the villain. This is his grand circuitous plan where like he just sort of puts the stuff just right in place, and you kind of do the rest.
you know.
So
As for some reason, my mind jumped to the Loki myth. For some reason, yeah, I can understand that. I don't know. I can't. That's an impossible question, Canon. I can't answer that.
they're both good.
I
in
know
different ways.
it's tough even for me. Even though I already answered, but still, I'm going to let it go.
I think Constantine comes with probably like our strongest kind of recommendation of the movie so far. So definitely go out of your way to see. This is definitely a big fan favorite from the lads.
For sure.
And moving along, we have the next film. This was Winslow's choice, and that's 47 Ronin. Winslow, if you would explain to us why you wanted to pick this film, and ultimately, what is the synopsis of the film?
Okay. So the reason why I picked this film was because it was bad. And we wanted to choose Keanu Reeves' more not notable films, and this definitely was on there. This came out in 2013, and I'm not that old, but whenever I was reminded of that, I was like, damn, that was a long time ago. Because I watched this in theaters, and my sister and my brother-in-law weren't even married yet. We watched it together, and oh man, it was just it was something. It's about Keanu Reeves, who plays, this is late medieval Japan, so 47 Ronin. It's actually based off of an actual tale. No, I take that back. It uses the 47 Ronin name of the tale, and then that's kind of all it has, because this is, if you watch this and think, man, now I know everything about the 47 Ronin, you're completely wrong, because this is completely fictional. Nothing in here that happens actually happens in the actual 47 Ronin real life group of masterless samurai, because there are like fictional creatures, weird fucking moves and I'll go into it. Keanu Reeves plays a guy who is a half English, half Japanese outcast who's been adopted into this very rich, very affluential Japanese family, and but because he's half Japanese and half English, he's very much looked down upon in Japanese society, and whenever he tries to essentially like avenge the death of somebody in his family, he can't do that, because there's these weird certain codes and rules within their system that like they have to abide by. So whenever he does that, he breaks it, and then he's deemed a Ronin, and he joins the other outcasts of Ronins, which are the 47 Ronin, and it's kind of like his journey with these group of samurai to expose this conspiracy that involved the killing of somebody in his adopted family, and yeah, it was bad. There was a part in there that I actually laughed out loud in the movie theater, because apparently he was taught a technique by Tengu that he meets in a cave, and this technique is that they can do really fast front and side flips. Or no, really fast front flips and cartwheels. That's what it was.
So it's just Keanu Reeves with like CG flipping moves?
Yes. And it was so fucking funny, because the Tengu look ugly, by the way. They look disgusting. Look them up if you want. And they were like, this is our special technique, and the technique was just that. It was literally them moving really fast, and somehow he could do it, and he does do it, and it's really fucking weird. And the funny thing is too, on the front poster of 47 Ronin is a guy. His name is Rick Genis. Rick Genis, I think.
Yeah, I was about to bring him up.
And
Rick, if you don't know, he's the guy who has tattoos all over his body. He looks like a skull. He worked with Lady Gaga. He committed suicide a few years ago.
He committed suicide in 2018, and
the Skull Boy.
Yeah, his name was he was known as Zombie Boy, and he's on the front cover, and he doesn't play that big of a role, and it's like he's featured on like almost all of the advertising for the movie. It's really weird.
Like he's essentially an extra, and he's kind of given like, oh, he must be a very important character, and he's barely in it.
Yeah, he's like in it for one portion, and that's where they have to, I think, go to a Dutch colony. I thought I could talk about this movie, but like it's been 7 years since I've seen it, and I don't know why. I kind of just I should have watched it again. But there was some cool like stuff in there, like Cannon mentions earlier. I think like there is a snake creature. I think it's more of a dragon. There was a samurai golem, which was Keanu Reeves fights but gets his ass kicked. There was a giant boar-like creature that they were running after, that they had to hunt in the very beginning of the movie. Oh, it was a Kirin. It was a Kirin, I think. Yes, it was a Kirin. The horns and it's like a it's just listed as a horned beast. I'm sorry, I had to look that up. Yeah, and would you guys want to know the ending for this?
I mean, I'm fine. I've seen this years ago, and I don't remember shit about it, man. Not a thing.
It is funny that because there was an ad for this, because we watch AEW and they play some of their like big movie gets, and kind of like TNT is sort of this level of cable TV. It's like getting you all those big blockbuster movies that you completely forgot about 5 years ago.
San Andreas and 47 Ronin.
So, yeah, I don't know if this is really in the forefront of people's minds when it comes to like big action movies of the last.
All right, Pat. I won't spoil it for you. Jesus. Okay, sorry. So is that a yes from everybody?
Sure, let it rip.
Do it.
Okay, at the very end, after the 47 Ronin go on this journey, for honor, for family, and all that stuff, and then after saving, probably all of Japan or the kingdom, the region, whatever, turns out that the shogunate authority was like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Now you're going to be arrested, and guess what? You're sentenced to death, and they're sentenced to death. But then somebody else is like, no, they followed the way of the samurai, so they get their honor, and we're going to make them samurai. But they are still committed a crime, but because they're samurai, they can perform seppuku.
That's just
which is an honorable death.
Which is
a ignominious death, I guess.
It is an honorable death, which is, as you know, you take a ceremonial dagger, take it out, and then you stab yourself in the stomach and go all the way, letting your organs or all in your intestines split out. That's like all of them are dressed in white, Keanu Reeves, and they all take out their blades, and they kill themselves at the very end. And
that's fucking stupid.
And then the closing caption of it is there's a tradition of paying respect at the graves of the 47 Ronin, which is on every December 14th of every year. And the thing is, though, like, this was like so fantastical and stuff. It doesn't actually, it has that little homage at the end, but it doesn't actually. The movie doesn't actually pay homage to the 47 Ronin in their story. It's just it was bad. I wouldn't recommend it unless.
It's just funny because the way you say it, like, it's just big like fantasy action epic, but then it kind of ends like it was Saving Private Ryan the whole time or some shit. Like they're at the cemetery where we pay respects to these fallen warriors, and motherfucker Keanu Reeves just like cut through fire that dragon shot at him like 20 minutes ago. What the hell? This isn't historical drama.
Saving Private Ryan was good. This isn't even that. This isn't even the similar at all. Like I mean, if you want to drink a few beers, vodka, wine, whatever you want, get a little buzz going, and then watch it. Sure, I think it'll be a fun ride. I think it'll please your senses, essentially, with how the Tengu do their fucking techniques. Yeah, go for it, but no, don't seek this out.
Watch Constantine instead.
Watch Constantine.
Yeah, watch Constantine. Devil's Advocate.
Just watch it twice.
Actually, yeah, do it.
So we have a not-so-ringing endorsement from 47 Ronin as Keanu Reeves, the samurai savior. But we still have one more Keanu role to explore, and that's comes from Jonathan's film. And so tell us, what was your film, why you chose it, and give us a little bit of the story before we get into that discussion.
Okay. My choices came down between this and a movie from 2015 called Knock Knock, where Keanu Reeves has a threesome with Ana de Armas and some other girl.
I've totally not seen one of those scenes
Me either.
in that movie. I've never
Me
seen.
either. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
That's a very oddly specific denial happening right there, but continue.
But I ended up choosing this movie because the premise was a lot wilder. So, synopsis of this movie. It stars...
Do we have the title?
Is The Bad Batch. It's from 2016 on Netflix. It stars Suki Waterhouse, Jason Momoa, Keanu Reeves, and Jim Carrey.
Shit.
But I didn't know that was Jim Carrey.
Hold up, I'm searching this because I watched the movie and I don't fucking remember Jim Carrey.
He's the homeless guy with a shopping cart.
What the fuck? This is fucked up.
Yeah.
That doesn't even look like him, even without the glasses taken off. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, he fucking pulled a Daniel Day-Lewis on this one.
He disappeared into
You
the
know,
role.
Tanner, if you're not Tanner, Jonathan. I'm sorry, I was just reading a message from Tanner. Jonathan, if you have a really tough time telling Jim Carrey apart, if you watch the Batman trailer, look for Colin Farrell.
Oh, I know. Like
Yeah.
he's unrecognizable. So Suki Waterhouse plays this person named Arlen, and apparently this takes place in some like dystopian hellscape where anyone who is deemed as like a degenerate derelict of society, they get labeled the Bad Batch. They get tattooed a number and they get thrown into the desert. And this could be from like legitimate convicted criminals or just like maybe someone who has like a mental illness, or someone who's some sort of verge of some sort of area on the fringe of society. So she gets sent here. We never really are given the reason why. But this model woman, she comes across this car, and in the distance there is a golf cart, and she ends up trying to run away and gets snatched up by cannibals. This is what this group is. And so immediately,
Jesus.
yeah, this movie starts really fucking hard.
Yeah.
So she gets captured by cannibals, and they cut off her arm and leg on the same side of her body too. So she ends up finding a way to escape. But this society, which they call the Bridge People, Jason Momoa is part of them, and everyone in this village looks like they're from Venice Beach. What I mean by that, they are so fucking jacked. Even the women are jacked.
Hell yeah.
They're just fucking massive. Like, you know how big Jason Momoa is? He's probably the smallest motherfucker in this town.
Jesus.
Yeah, this is how jacked these motherfuckers
They're just
are.
like pumping iron in like the dystopian Texas desert.
Yes. They have their own makeshift Mad Max weight bench.
And their apocalypse music is Die Antwoord. Sad. They're not good. No, do not listen to Die Antwoord anymore.
Yeah, that did not age very well.
No, it did not.
But our protagonist, she's a very plucky young woman, so she ends up
She's not gonna let a double amputee keep her down.
Oh no, she's not gonna let a fucking missing arm and leg keep her. She don't need no arm and leg or no man. Anywho, how she escapes, it is fucking hilarious. She covers herself in shit.
Wait. No, keep going. Sorry.
covers herself in shit. So it will bring the people over to be like, fuck, I gotta clean you. So this big muscle mama unchains her and is like wiping her down. And amputee girl, she finds a piece of rebar, beats the old woman down, knocks her the fuck out. And then she literally like fucking Solid Snakes her way through this village just by like sliding on the ground.
So like this homegirl with half her body missing and just like slithering around covered in doo-doo, leaving like a slug trail of shit behind her, but she's evading all of these cannibals somehow.
Yes.
They're too busy pumping iron to notice this shit snake in their midst.
So she then ends up digging through some trash, finds a skateboard, lays on the skateboard, and skateboards her way out.
This felt like 40 minutes, but it happens over like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then she's picked up by homeless Jim Carrey, who didn't know it was Jim Carrey until after the fact. And he takes her to this other town, which is called Comfort. And then smash cut 5 months later. And she's like in the town, but she's not really vibing with anybody. You know what I'm saying?
She got a new leg, though.
She got a new leg, though. So, you know, it's a little lopsided. It doesn't quite fit her, but, you know, it's the apocalypse. So she, you know.
Sorry, I was just looking up Jim Carrey. I haven't seen this movie. I was like, what?
Yeah. So, you know, she decides to go out. She takes a gun, goes out to just the random desert, and ends up coming across this older black lady and a little girl. And there are scenes earlier showing that these people are with Jason Momoa, and the little girl is his. So, fucking missing limb chick has a gun, just fucking in front of this girl, just blows the brains out of the little black, and basically kidnaps the little girl, takes her back to the Comfort. Meanwhile, like Jason Momoa, you know, he's a fucking cannibal. His name in the movie, I shit you not, is Miami Man.
Miami Man. Fuck.
So you know he's the most dangerous one.
Yeah.
It tracks with the name of his upcoming film role in Dune, where he's Duncan, Idaho.
So, and how you know is because he has a huge tattoo across his chest that says Miami Man.
Oh, wow.
Also, Jason Momoa in this movie is Latino. Keep that in mind. It's important. It comes back later. And he's like killing bitches and filleting them and making some meals out of people because he's a fucking cannibal. And he like straight up like like this one woman who's chained up, you know, she's missing an arm, scared. She's trying to beg for her life, and he just like breaks her neck. And the next scene, he just has like a butcher knife, just like ripping into the flesh. It's real fucked. Anywho, so homegirl kills black woman, kidnaps Jason Momoa's kid. They take her back to Comfort, but in Comfort, the town of Comfort is just Bonnaroo 24/7. It's just Running Man all the time. So
just things like just fucking stinky hipsters, just like into sweating in the sand.
Yeah, and God loves Suki Waterhouse. But the minute this bitch opens her mouth, and I mind you, like there's like barely any dialogue in the movie up to this point. But everyone has a very exaggerated Southern accent that is really fake. And Suki Waterhouse is the female Hayden Christensen. Like the actual like nonverbal facial and body acting, amazing. The minute they open their mouth, it's the cringiest shit. All right. So she takes the little girl back to Bonnaroo Town, and they're like, all right, you want to drop some acid? And she's like, cool.
I'm missing half my body. Why the hell wouldn't I take drugs?
Yeah, so drops a tab of acid, and then loses the girl. Surprise, surprise. She ends. Oh, another important fact. There's just a random bunny salesman.
Like a man selling caged rabbits in the apocalypse?
Yes.
Of course.
You know, with everything else I've heard about this movie so far, why wouldn't there be a rabbit?
Why wouldn't there be? Anyway, homegirl ends up buying the little girl a rabbit, and the little girl's just carrying a rabbit the entire movie.
You know what? This almost makes up for the fact you shot my mom in the head.
Yeah. and the little girl's like mute for most of the movie.
Yeah, from the trauma of seeing her mother be murdered.
So, this leads to Keanu Reeves' character.
The Dream.
He's called the Dream, and his whole thing is, have you found the Dream? And y'all, I lost it, because Keanu Reeves, not only does he have a very bad Southern accent, he is dressed like a 70s porn star. Got a fucking mustache and everything.
Well, I gotta see this.
And has a harem and a harem of pregnant women with assault rifles guarding him.
So wait, are people with assault rifles guarding the pregnant women? The pregnant women have assault rifles.
The pregnant women have assault rifles, and they are his secret guard.
As pregnant women have.
You know what?
You know, you say that, Jonathan. I'm looking at a picture right now, and they're actually holding Uzis, and those are SMGs.
Oh my God, Jonathan.
Oh, shut the fuck up, you gun nerd. Anywho,
Embarrassed.
here, yeah, Pat's looking it up right now. It's fucking wild. So, what happens is the little girl gets lost in the crowd, and Keanu and one of the pregnant ladies take the girl in, and it's very ominous. Like you know he's going to groom this girl to be his little like sex slave or something. It's really fucked. So anyway, meanwhile, one armed lady is just straight up tripping balls. And camera work is actually pretty good at this point. It's really cool, like, creating that effect. She ends up running into the desert just randomly and runs into none other than Jason Momoa.
Oh, shit.
Oh, Pat's showing can.
What the fuck?
Yes.
Also, just saying, this apocalypse is much more put together than I was imagining it to be.
Oh yeah, like they have like a straight up DJ. They just like all the time.
This is like a soft apocalypse.
Well, yeah, this is like their prison type thing. It's not like the entire world is like that.
Okay.
Also, the pregnant ladies, they have a shirt that says "The dream is inside me."
Is the dream his cock?
I think so. And the little girl ends up wearing a shirt that says that at one point in the movie, and it's real fucked.
That's not good.
However, I will say, at least from the impression we get, he didn't diddle the little girl, so we're good there. Anyway, you know, two-limbed lady runs into Jason Momoa, and she's tripping balls, and she's just like, doesn't know what the fuck this is, and is rubbing all over Jason Momoa, who, mind you, is Latino and has a really bad accent as well.
So he's a giant Hawaiian man pretending to be a giant Latino man?
And his name is Miami Man.
Wow.
This is the level. This is the movie we're dealing with, all right. So, she ends up passing out. She wakes up. Her leg is gone.
Again, goddamn it, the other one.
No, her fake leg is gone.
Oh.
And she's like, what the fuck? And he sort of blackmails her. Also, a detail about Jason Momoa I forgot to mention. He is an artist. He does, and so he draws like a sketch of the little girl, and it's like, where is this little girl? And she's like, bitch, I don't know. Even though she does know. And he's like, all right, we're going to go to Comfort, and you're going to get my little girl for me. And she's like, well, I mean, you have my leg, so I can't really say anything. So that, and the most of the rest of the movie is just them kind of fucking around in the desert. And they bond, but they don't have any chemistry at all. Nina, this is also labeled a post-apocalyptic romance. Keep that in mind, too. So they run across this guy who's willing to trade, this black guy who's willing to trade gasoline with them for her leg. Don't know why he wants the fucking leg. He just wants the leg.
He wants to make a lamp from the Christmas story.
Oh, yeah. So.
Which Rocket Raccoon? That guy's eye. Sorry.
So Jason Momoa acts like he's going to take the gasoline and walk off and be all cool and shit. And you know, and the guy just like, instead of just taking the leg, he just grabs the entire woman. And she's like, what the fuck? All right. And so, to meet the knife throwing quota, Jason Momoa starts throwing fucking knives at this dude. Fuck.
You know what? Sorry to break, but I'm really upset that this Suki Waterhouse girl isn't actually an amputee actress.
I know. And the effects are really, like, I was almost convinced.
It's like, she's not a double amputee at all.
Not at all. Anywho, so this leads to kind of a problem that not only I had, I did some research into this. Turns out a lot of people had kind of a problem with this. The only people who die in this movie are black people.
Oh.
That's a
I didn't realize
that's
that.
a problem.
Yeah. It's directed by an Iranian woman.
I saw that one of the producers is one of the Vice guys that you see in every Vice documentary.
Yeah, like Vice helped produce this movie. So yeah, that's kind of yikesy. You know, it's like 2016. I mean, I feel like you would know better, but whatever. So they end up having this little bonding moment where she asks him, why are you in this? Why are you part of the Bad Batch? And he, you know, he's a little standoffish at first, but then she opens up to him. Mind you, this guy's a cannibal, and we're trying to relate to him. He then opens up on why he was put in here, and it was because he was an illegal immigrant.
He was thrown out in the desert because he crossed the border?
No, like he was an illegal immigrant, came here from Cuba, lived in Miami, hence Miami Man, and like was doing like low-level construction work and stuff like that, and someone got pissed and turned him in. So, after they have the bonding moment, black guy rolls up on a little scooter, shoots Jason Momoa, and is like, hey girl, come on, let's leave and go back to Comfort. And she's like, okay, cool. So, they leave Jason Momoa out in the desert, you know, gunshot, bleeding out, you know, going to probably die. Not really. Spoiler alert, he's fine.
Massive pecs didn't stop the bullet.
What?
I can't believe his massive pecs didn't stop the bullet.
I think that's actually what happened. It just kind of went like one layer of skin. So, anywho, we keep going. She gets back to Comfort. You know, she doesn't belong for whatever reason.
You're not doing enough acid, girl. You need to up your game.
Exactly. So anyway, she demands consult with the Dream. Keanu lets her in, and he gives this huge speech, basically bred in circuses.
Okay.
And like, the mansion he lives in is so fucking ornate. It's like it's like in a Kubrick. Like at the end of 2001 where the guy wakes up in the fucking Baroque bedroom. That's like his entire fucking house.
Hey.
So, he gives her this speech of like, oh, I'm just doing this to keep the people in line. I'm trying to, he's like, when you take a shit, where does your shit go? And he wants to.
On Suki Waterhouse.
What?
Apparently on Suki Waterhouse.
Ew.
Yeah, because she smeared herself in poo poo. She eated the poo poo. Fuck. What was I saying? Oh yeah, he keeps insisting on. He's like, when you shit, where does your shit go? And she's like, bitch, I don't know. And he's like, that's right, because I'm in charge of that. And it's like, all right, dude, cool. So she tricks him and she's like, I want to be a part of this pregnant woman harem. And he's like, awesome, sweet. She ends up going in a changing room that's being guarded by one of the pregnant women. She takes her fake leg off, takes her shoe off of that foot, and swerve, she had a gun in there. In her foot.
Fuck.
Pulls the gun out.
Oh, this girl just pulled. I would love if she just pulled like the cherry from Planet Terror. Just like, I got a gun in my leg, babe. Just like,
God, this movie would be so much better if it did that than what it does. So she ends up holding one of the pregnant militia ladies at gunpoint, and is like, "Give me the girl." And I'll let her live.
I'll go from a regular murder to a triple murder.
Yeah, and then Keanu's like, all right, here's the girl, go. Sure. So she takes the girl on a golf cart, goes out in the desert, finds Jason Momoa, brings the girl to Jason Momoa, and the first thing the little girl says is, I want spaghetti. Can I have spaghetti, Daddy?
This
Because
movie fucking sucks. I hate it.
We haven't got to my favorite unintentional hilarious scene yet. And we're at the end of the movie, mind you.
It's like, geez, little girl, read the room.
Yeah, so she's like, I want spaghetti because in comfort, subtle, she got used to certain things, like, because Keanu gave her spaghetti, and she's like, I like spaghetti now, and it's like, cool thing. And all this time, she still has the fucking bunny, and so, Jason Momoa is like, and his whole philosophy is like, him and Amputee Girl, they get into it, because she's like, you're a fucking monster. And he's like, I'm doing what I need to do to survive. Or, I'm doing what I need to do to survive.
God, that movie, that just sounds so bad.
It's so bad, Pat. Like honestly, I gave it a 2, and I think I'm going to give it a worse score. So
like this giant ass himbo's just doing a Speedy Gonzalez impression for 2 hours.
It's not that bad, but it's close. It does. I will say, I will give him credit. It gets better as the movie goes along.
He learns as it's going. He's learning in progress.
Yes.
It gets better as the movie goes on, but it's a 1-star movie, and it's easily the worst of the movies that out of all of the ones that we've watched.
Yes. So, the final shot of this movie is so fucking funny and it's because I'm a sick fuck. So, little girl's like, I want spaghetti. And so he asks her to let him see the bunny. He walks off, and the amputee girl's covering her eyes, fucking breaks the bunny's neck.
Fuck.
Next shot is a campfire where the bunny is roasting, and then it cuts to a close-up on the girl's face as she's in fucking tears. She's just like fucking bawling her eyes out. Meanwhile, fucking Jason Momoa and Amputee Girl are having this like tender moment where they're like giving each other the fuck me eyes, and the music is like this like really intimate song that's playing while this little girl is in the corner of the screen just crying, eating the bunny. So that is The Bad Batch, and I was like, all right.
Wow.
Like Colt said, 1-star movie. It's not that good. And basically, I was like, all right, surely there's more going on. Because we've seen, at least me, Pat, and Ken have seen the director, Anna Lily Amapour's other movie, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. And even though that movie is boring as shit, it has some interesting things to say.
That movie's very well made, great soundtrack. It's very contemplative in its vacancy. Just feels vacant. Just when you're
it's all style, no substance, and the theme of the movie, just full stop, is America bad. Which is like, I get it. Like, America does suck, but that's like the level of that it doesn't break the surface from that. It's just, yeah, America, it kind of sucks, right? And
it's like, is this it? Is this all you got? You want to elaborate? And
I actually came across an interview with the director, Miss Amanpour, and she's asked about, this movie. This was her response. We like living systems, man. We live in systems.
That's her $1 million quote for the explanation for this movie.
Yeah, and I'm sure she is a really smart lady. Like, I'm not like trying to dunk on her 100%, but I was just like, all right. So I'm not crazy when I think a lot of this movie is just kind of vacuous. All right, cool. 1-star movie. As buck wild as it is, a lot of the buck wildness I kind of enhance for dramatic effect. It's not as crazy as you think it was about a post-apocalyptic dystopian cannibal love story.
It's not worth watching. Don't watch it.
No. Jim Carrey's the best thing about the movie.
Yeah, he's the best thing, and I didn't realize it was him until you said it was him.
Yeah, I didn't realize it until I was looking it up. And like, there's some things I can respect about this movie. Like, the acting is shite, but like the cinematography and the direction is really cool, and sort of I want a better movie set in this world, because the world is like super fucking cool, but nothing really is explained, and part of it's because it's very minimal dialogue. And the point of it is, I think she's trying to do mostly visual storytelling, which works for the most part, but there are other aspects to it where it's like, you are just not explaining stuff, and this is just not working.
All sizzle, no steak.
Yeah. So, yeah. Don't watch it.
Sounds fucking, like, atrocious.
Yeah,
like,
it's not good.
Like, there's movies you want to watch just to see how bad they are. Hearing him explain it, I don't even want to watch it.
It's kind of like how it was with, what was that movie that got a lot of buzz the other day? Because the guy who directed it, the lead role, and produced it, gave the movie a 5-star rating on Letterboxd, and people found out about it. And I was going to go watch it because, like, this sounds so butt-fuck crazy that this motherfucker wrote and filmed and started his own goddamn movie and then gave it a 5 stars on a review. And then when I saw the trailer, it was like, man, this is just like nothing. Like, I couldn't even muster the energy after seeing it to like even watch a 90-minute movie about evil Uber drivers or some bullshit. I was like, you know what?
Was it Guns Akimbo?
No, it was something.
Because there was some weird shit with that director.
They had some other bullshit. It's essentially like this motherfucker, he's an Uber driver, but he gets a customer that's a killer, and the guy like forces him to go to different places so he can kill people.
Wait, did this motherfucker steal the plot to Collateral?
I don't know. It came out this year. Who knows?
Probably.
That is literally Collateral with just a few things changed around.
Yeah, it's just Collateral for 2020.
It's like Collateral, it was a hitman, which is essentially still a killer going around looking for.
This guy's a serial killer. He's not. He's doing it for the laughs, not for the bucks.
Oh God, Collateral is actually a good movie. Watch that one, not whatever the fuck you just brought up.
Luckily, it would have been free on Tubi. If y'all got Tubi and you got 90 minutes to piss, maybe check it out.
Sure.
But before we do that, watch just about anything else on our list today, because I guarantee you probably have a better time watching that. Even maybe some of the clunkier ones. Well, maybe.
Yeah. Like, with The Bad Batch, if you just gotta watch something from this movie, the first, 15 minutes, where this woman's covering herself in shit.
As soon as she gets the skateboard, turn off the TV.
As soon as she gets a skateboard, or skip to the very end, where the girl is crying while she's having to eat her pet bunny. Like I said, I'm a sick fuck, so I thought that was fucking hilarious.
That's a very unintentionally dark comedic moment.
Oh, yeah. And I don't know about you, Colt, but there were multiple points in this movie where I put it on 1.25 speed.
I looked at my phone a lot. I'll say that.
I was watching it on my phone, so I couldn't escape.
Oh, you were fucked. You were locked in. I'm sorry.
Damn.
So, yeah, that's Keanu Reeves retrospective.
So we have a very vast and varied body of work for you to enjoy. If you haven't got to get past with more of his more commercial roles, we have a very nice starting point for his underappreciated films. So we thank you all for joining us today on this Keanu Reeves Fest. We really do appreciate it. Be sure to follow us online on Twitter and Instagram at AYCH Podcast. You can follow us on Facebook and Letterboxd at All You Can Hear. You can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/All You Can Hear, and YouTube at All You Can Hear. You can call us anytime, day or night, at 205-523-4965. That's 205-LAD-4965. Be sure to like us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Spotify, iTunes, any RSS feed catcher. We're there. We're putting the word out. Just be sure to do us a favor and like, review, subscribe, and all those platforms. That really helps us out. Gets the show out there and keeps the show going. And lastly, you can follow me, Patrick, on Twitter and Instagram at John Lost His Name, and follow my art on Facebook at John Lost His Name Art.
My name is Jonathan. You can follow me on Twitter at JONIIBOI24 and Letterboxd on JohnandSon12.
This has been Canon. You can find me at That Canon Guy on Twitter, Letterboxd, Instagram, pretty much everything. That Canon Guy. It's been fun.
My name's Colt. You can follow me on Twitter at ColtD00. You can find me on Letterboxd at ColtD00. I'm giving an update on how many movies I've seen this year. I'm at 149.
Holy shit!
Fuck.
Yeah, Colt definitely went into 100 movie challenge this year. I'm in second. I'm only like 116.
I've seen.
I haven't broken 90 yet.
I'm counting how many I've seen since I fucked up my back a month ago, and it's a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I've seen around 50 movies in a month. It's been nothing but me. I can't play video games because I want to sit in a chair to play video games. I can't sit at my computer. It's just me watching movies constantly and anime. Fuck. I'm so glad I can finally sit up again.
Thank you for listening. I'm Wenzel. You can follow me on Twitter at Winsy Wilkie. You can follow my art Instagram at World of Winsy. You can follow my Letterboxd, Wenzel Wilkie or Winsy. If you search up in either of those, I'll pop up. You can follow me on Goodreads, Wenzel Wilkie as well, or World of Winsy. If If you have a problem with that, you can go to my link tree, and all my links are on there as well. So, thank you.
You have a problem that you can fucking deal with it.
Fucking deal, bro.
All right, thank you all again for listening today. Take care of yourselves. We'll be talking to you next week.
Jesus time.
Bye.
Jesus time.